Welcome back, everyone. GhettoRig, episode number 27. By popular demand, Money Marv is back. To those who don't know him, he'll give us a quick introduction, but I think throughout the conversation, you'll get to know him pretty well. So, I met, I'm going to give a quick intro. I met Marv through Jiu-Jitsu, and we've been friends since, it's going on 3 years now. Y'all met my co-host, Eddie. And then you met Kevin last episode when he was down here.
Episode 25.
Yeah, he was down here for episode 20.
Tuesday last week, yeah.
For episode 25. But yeah, Marv, just a quick intro about yourself, and I think we should get going.
Oh yeah. Hey, my name is Marv, aka Money Marv. I'm just a young entrepreneur / engineer. Trying to create a positive impact in the world and have fun while doing it.
And hey, guys, while you're here, let's get this out of the way right away. Go ahead and give us a thumbs up if you like on a episode. I did a little experiment. I didn't mention this a couple of episodes back, and obviously the numbers were a little bit lower than usual. So if you could please drop a like and a share and all that good stuff. But also, guys, in the description we have all of Mar's socials, right? So his own social, his media group socials, his YouTube channel, his playlist, all of that. Go ahead and check it out, subscribe, and like all of it. Honestly, by you just liking and subscribing, that might not help him. So if you're working, let that kind of play in the background. I'm gonna let you know what I'm talking about. Well, actually, he'll let you know what I'm talking about. But let the playlist run in the background. That'll help us. That'll help him. In the meantime, you'll have some sort of a background pleasant noise, you know what I mean? So
you're gonna love what you hear. It's not just gonna be background noise. You're gonna be bumping.
Yeah, you're gonna forget about us.
You might even start dancing. So if you don't want to be dancing, I don't even recommend you listen to my content. But if you want to have a good time and dance, then by all means, listen to it.
Ass shaking is highly encouraged. So Marv, so tell us a little bit more about your entrepreneurial ventures. Whichever, it doesn't have to be in a particular order. Whichever one you want to talk about first. And
yeah, I created the business Money Marv Media Group. It's basically going to reflect me as a person and all the things I love to do, and my mission behind it. I'm an engineer, I love music, but I also love just happy people and creating an impact that, allows people to have more inner peace and just be more happy with themselves and with the world around them. So I'm doing everything I can to... Somebody calling you, Jay?
No, it's just me.
For a lot of people, music
House.
is that thing. Yeah. A lot of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
for sure. But there's a lot of things I want to do, so I can do audio engineering, I could do music, but I also love to write. I love to read, research. I like to do interviews, and I like to make money. So, I'm into investing and watching the stock market, watching trends, researching companies and things like that. And Jay taught me a thing or two back in the day.
Educated you on investing.
Yeah,
I didn't teach you what to do.
No, Jay taught me exactly what to do. No, I'm just kidding.
Allegedly.
Jay is not my financial advisor. He did not give me any financial advice.
Yeah.
In fact, he literally never did because I probably would have asked him.
Yeah.
Jay, put his if you could get his a little closer, so listen to here.
Is my mic down?
No, you're good. He's got to put the bar back a little bit. On here, it looks a little far for you.
We gotta just get headsets, bro.
If only the lavalier mics were
Xbox headsets.
Yeah,
if
I'm
only
down for that. I'll bring my own.
If only lavalier mics had the same quality as XLR. If only we would definitely go with that because it's just so much more comfortable and less setup, especially that ones that they have that just connect to the cameras.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be a lot nicer, but it's definitely not the
some
same
of those
quality.
lavaliers I've been looking at. They have the. Because we can still use our sound equipment. We just, it does have an XLR transfer unit, so you connect it to.
You can have them where they come with a mixer and stuff other
Actually,
ones.
that might be a good idea. If we get one and we see the quality of the sound is good, because some of them come in doubles, so you can plug in into one XLR output, so you can get technically 8 lavaliers going.
The prime situation in reality is, either if we're trying to use this style mic still is to have it at a table. That's kind of the most comfortable way versus these stands. We'll get a rig, so whatever. But
eventually, obviously, we're gonna
100% the best way though. if it, not using these mics like in or like any situation is having like a studio setting that has like really good sound isolation and stuff, with just like a boom mic.
Yeah.
Like movie style. Fuck
Yeah.
it. Like and that's the that really good audio. That way you can't have anything going on in the background because it's gonna pick it up.
I mean, eventually, if this little venture that we got going on does pick up, eventually, I want to get a studio going.
100%.
And have the equipment set up where we just come in and push a button, it's all up and running, and y'all can see us live in a beautiful studio with some neon lights.
Neon lights.
Yeah,
Stripper
I'm
pole.
trying to bring stripper pole, all of that.
Then, now, would it?
Huh?
No, it wouldn't be ghetto.
So it
then.
wouldn't be ghetto
It'd just
then.
be Rig podcast.
No, I mean it would still be ghetto because we'd be inviting some ghetto girls on a panel. It still would be ghetto.
Oh man, only you, Jay.
Hey, not ghetto girls only. We'd invite ghetto people.
Ghetto people.
Yeah,
What
just-
what are
fine.
ghetto people?
Ghetto people are
Crackheads
people,
we find on the street.
people that refuse
Crackheads on the street usually are very nice. I
refuse,
got a good story about that. Actually.
that refuse to accept the fact, like there's education, and once, because see, here's the thing, a lot of people use the word ignorant completely wrong, right? Like ignorant just means that you don't know, right? So once somebody tells you something, you no longer can claim ignorance. So because now you know, right? So ghetto people are the people that, despite all the being so connected and education being so accessible, YouTube University, call it whatever you want, right? You have all this knowledge, and you tell them, hey, listen, this is not how things are, and you point them the right direction. You tell them, hey, this is where you can get the knowledge, but yet they refuse to do it. To me, that's what people are ghetto.
So
It's
basically,
not
that's why we're
necessarily-
ghetto.
So hold on. So basically, you're saying you refuse to get better equipment. That's why you call yourself the GhettoRig podcast.
No, GhettoRig. Why it
By,
came-
by your logic, that's exactly what
no,
you
no.
just said.
Why it became GhettoRig? Because we knew in the beginning we didn't know what we were doing. So as we started going further and further, we started upgrading the equipment. It started getting better. But the whole thing came together. He had something, I had something, he had something, I needed to buy something. So we kind of started gluing everything, zip tying things together. Kind of like zip tying a radiator to a car versus using bolts, the proper bolts, right? Now, we still have a lot of zip ties, except we're slowly replacing each zip tie with a new bolt. You know what I mean? This is
We're
what we are.
getting
This is
there.
why,
I mean,
that's why we're in the process.
I mean, it sounds like being ghetto was the best thing that ever happened to you guys. Then
It was.
Yeah,
it,
for sure.
It just having what we had now to work with, right? But like, actually, to me, ghetto people are people. They have the right to live. All that stuff.
you never heard
But
that
when-
song "Ghetto Superstar"? Like they made that song for a reason, my dude. Go listen to it.
Okay.
Your opinion of the word ghetto will definitely change.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
Oh, talk about crackheads though, Miggy. So I remember one day I'm driving home from work. Or no, we were going to lunch. So we like left the job site and we're in downtown St. Pete. Not downtown, like before downtown. So like, the hood. Like, so
Wait, which part?
we were in like maybe 22nd Ave South and like.
What? No, 22nd Ave South has cleaned up a lot, bro. Like from what it was 15 years
We
ago,
were-
22nd Ave is pretty clean.
We were working in a nice house actually.
Yeah.
But like to get out of the neighborhood,
You have to
you
drive some.
drive past some not so nice houses, right? But anyways, that had nothing to do with this situation. We're driving out of this neighborhood, and there's this dude with his face first into the concrete in the middle of the road. Not the middle, but like in the right lane, right? And I'm like, what the fuck? And my boss like ask him if he's okay. Like, does he want water or something? I don't know. And I roll the window down. Hey, bro, you good? Fuck you, you bitch ass hoe. He just looks at me and screams that, and like looks like he starts to like try and get up. And I looked at my boss. I'm like, yo, you're good. I think he's good. Like,
Yeah, like
we
what did you
keep
think was
moving.
gonna happen? Are you okay? Of course he's not fucking okay. Why you asking people rhetorical questions? That's why people get pissed, and then you wonder why people complain when they're face first in their own throw up, and you ask them if they're okay. Of course they're not
well,
fucking okay.
I was seeing if he wanted help, dog. I was gonna offer him water.
Your
like,
boss was being an asshole. He was like, "Yo, let's go be an asshole to that guy right now."
That wasn't the
Exactly-
case.
that's
We were
exactly what
trying to
happened,
be an
son.
asshole.
That's exactly what
That's
happened.
not
we were trying to
be
help. I was
that-
gonna offer him water, and he's like, "Fuck you." The first thing he responds.
He doesn't need water. He needs way more than water, bro.
He needs some milk.
I was gonna give him what I could provide. All right. Man.
Oh man.
Anyway, so the point is, when some people are a little bit smarter, or they know more, and they point you the right direction, and you know the direction, you don't want to take it, you refuse to take it. That's one thing. Or you can take that direction, get much better, and understand a lot more, and then come back and school that person. That's also acceptable. You know what I mean? Like, but it's just a refusal to accept what it is and how you can better yourself, and I don't agree with that. You know what I mean? Especially if it's, free given to you. So I don't know. That's just me. I guess being me.
Yeah, I mean, one of the hardest lessons that I ever had to learn, just like in my travels and in my studies, is that everyone, including the people that you love, have the right to hold on to their disease, whatever their disease is, whether it's mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, whatever. Like, everyone has the right to hold on to it, because at one point in your lives, you held on to it, right? And you would have felt like you had the right to hold on to that at that point in time. So to say that just because now you've reached a certain level that other people have to change, to me, like, is being naive to the greater situation.
No, I'm not saying they have to change. I'm not saying to change. They have the right to do whatever they want to do. It is what it is. But I also have the right to eliminate myself from that situation. You know what I mean? Like, I don't necessarily need to have the conversation with them or go back to that. And as a matter of fact, I think it's wrong to even hold a grudge against someone that doesn't want to accept
same beliefs or whatever. Yeah.
Not even same belief, doesn't want to accept your help and whatever it is, right? It's okay. They have the full right to do that. You did what you had to do, and they asked for advice. You gave them the advice, and they chose not to choose it, not to elect to listen, which is fine. It's just, if they continue to go on their route, it's just now time for me to remove myself from that situation. And
if it's draining you, sometimes you're just on a whole nother level, and then there's some people around you that you feel like, yeah, I care about you, but you're kind of draining me. Like, I'm moving in a way, or I'm moving at a pace, or I'm moving in a style that just, there's no synergy between us anymore.
Yes.
So, yeah,
yes.
I agree.
Because it's like, I hate to use that, the cliche, that everybody uses. Oh, they're dragging you down. Like, I don't want to use that. They're dragging you down. But in a sense, they are kind of dragging you down, back down to their level, because you might be on a different path, and for you to be on a different path, you might need to meet people, other people, or even just continue it on your own, and just keep pushing that rock up the hill, right? And when they're like, oh, wait, I need you to help me to push my rock. Now you ended up strap on your shoulders, pulling their rock and pushing your own, while they're, dancing around behind their rock, So that's what I want to remove myself from that situation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You have the right to not allow that in your life.
Yeah.
Like, I try not to allow people to ever, like, disrupt what I consider to be my inner peace, which is my ability to consistently grow and keep myself happy and calm, and whenever I can, and have good ways of dealing with stressful situations.
So talking on that note, what is one thing that you do to deal with those kind of situations?
Give me a more specific scenario, because I'm thinking about people in general and like self, but like, what are you talking about in particular?
So let's say you have a situation. Let's say this would never happen. Someone calls you, and instead of having a conversation with you, grown up with a grown up, they start accusing you of something. How would you remove yourself from that situation?
So
and they accuse you of something that you didn't do.
Okay, I was about to ask, did I do it? Because if I did it, then they have every right to accuse me. But if I didn't do it, then, I mean, what is my relationship to this person? Are we family? Are we friends? Is this a partner? Like,
it doesn't matter. Let's say it's somebody that you know.
Bro, that matters a lot, because that's going to change what I say. It's going to change what I do.
Let's take a couple of scenarios. Let's say it's a person that you know. Let's say it's a person that's a friend, a good friend, and let's say it's family. So 3 different scenarios. Not necessarily in that order.
Yeah, I mean, so if it's family and there was no like crazy abuse between us, like, I would do what I call put them on probation. So I basically say, look, we're not seeing eye to eye right now. We need some space. Let's talk again in like 2 months. Between now and 2 months, you're not going to hear from me, but I promise you're going to hear from me eventually. And that's how I would handle that situation. And I've had to do that before with people in my family that were close. With a friend, if you're accusing me of some shit and I literally broke it down for you to a T why I didn't do it, and you still don't believe me, then you don't trust me. We're no longer friends. If it's a partner, I'm going to give her one chance to, like, make me understand why she's accusing me.
I agree with that.
Whether it's we go to therapy together, we get a third party, like one of my friends or one of her friends or somebody's parents, to like sit as a mediator and
Like
really
to Switzerland, you go to Switzerland.
Yeah, to somebody who could see
Neutral
things from
territory.
both perspectives. And if that shit don't work, then it's got to be over, because we can't be together if you think I did something I didn't do and it's like serious. You know what I'm saying? Anybody else, you're instantly cut off.
Yeah.
I'm not giving you no energy. You don't deserve it. We have no rapport. We have no history.
Yeah.
So we're done.
Yeah, I have the same mentality. If it's somebody that I just kind of know, I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm not even gonna pay attention. We're not gonna have a relationship. And then if it's somebody closer, then you get one chance. First time, shame on you. Second time, not gonna happen because it's
Right.
shame on me. You know what I mean?
Right.
But that's the bottom line. So I have an interesting situation now. Y'all guys, I want your input on this, right? So I don't even know if I'm gonna go into it because it's that's gonna bring too much of the
fuck
personal.
outta here.
Y'all, and we giving
You
you
get into
Alright,
it now.
We're getting
man.
deep, guys. Go ahead, drop that like for us, because we're giving you some deep shit right
Tell
now.
us,
Alright?
Jay.
Hella sauce right here, hella tea. So I was kind of like talking to this girl, and one time we decided to go out, and
I already like where this is going.
she came out with a pretty see-through top, right? And I said, listen, I don't mind you wearing that top, no problem. However, if we're going out, that's gonna attract attention. I don't even mind fighting people. I don't mind doing that, but I just don't want that attention. You can do whatever you want. I'm not telling you don't do it. You can do whatever you want, except I would prefer if you didn't do it, because it's going to attract attention. And I know how guys are, and I'm not about to go there somewhere where I want to enjoy my time with this
Where you have
with
to
this
be kind of
person
watching your back. Kind of
where,
thing.
where I have to watch my back. Okay, cool, no problem. I won't do it again. My fault, changed, right? Went out, everything is fine. Call up again.
Sounds like you got somebody understanding.
Yeah. Couple of months go by. I had my reservations about it, whether it's gonna happen again or not. Couple of months go by, and go meet up with them, and I see. So the way it worked is this person was out already, and I just went and met with them wherever they were, and I see wearing the same top. Now, this person was there with her friend. I didn't say anything. I promised her we're gonna do something. Ended up doing everything. After everything was done, I was like, listen, did I ask you not to do this? Yes, you did. So why? Why did you do it again? You know what I mean? And then there come these excuses. Well, I thought it's something. This was my favorite. But I thought it's something that you liked. That's why I did it. I was like, I specifically told you, I don't care if you do it. You can do whatever you want. But this is not like this. I
But
don't
then
want
why
this
did you?
attention.
Can I say why'd you bring it up again then? Like she did it again, so clearly she
Because I
don't
said,
give a
oh,
fuck.
okay, I missed a small part. Because the first time that happened, I said, listen, you can do this. I'm not telling you not to do anything. You can do this, but do it without me. Like, we can't have this. It's either, like, you can do whatever you want. Just, I won't be there anymore.
Is it
She
that
should've-
you don't like it, or is it that you don't like what you think other people think about it?
No. It's
The
not what
attention
other people think about it.
the
I just
attention
know
it
how
draws.
guys are, and I just don't want that attracting attention that could negatively impact my time of when I'm going out or doing things. I want to have fun. Like, I don't want to be constantly with eyes behind my back watching this and that. Again, I don't want to do any of that. If they elect to do that, that's fine. Go ahead and do it. But I don't want to be associated with that situation. Like, extract me out of it. I'm done. You know what I mean? Like, but then it repeats itself. It's like, hey, listen, you promised. What's going on here? Give me a good. Like, still gave him a chance. Hey, give me an excuse. What if they want to wear what makes them feel good? The real question is, why you jealous or care about what they?
I don't think he's necessarily talking about jealousy or like care exactly what they want. I get where he's coming from. It's kind of
It's
like,
about having boundaries. These are my
yeah,
preferences.
these are, I mean,
and
in
my
general, these are
boundaries.
his preferences
This
and
is what I
boundaries. But
want.
his reasoning is more of like he knows how assholes can be. Right, it's kind of like we already know, like it's like that breakdown of like we already know what is. What is that there's assholes out there. What is that there's just these nasty, gross dudes that when they see a girl walk by, they just smack her ass for no reason. I mean, and that can happen whether she's wearing some semi see-through shirt or she's fully dressed with a freaking
Correct.
gym clothes on.
Correct.
You know, that can happen. But what Jay is trying to say is that the likelihood goes up. The probability goes up with her wearing those kind of clothes because she draws more attention. You know, naturally as guys, there's more skin shown, so we look more.
I don't know about you guys, right? So I don't think you guys are giving enough credit. And let me finish this complete thought.
Yeah,
I don't think you guys are giving enough credit to like sexual predators and assholes that are just assholes and sexual predators. Like I've never in my whole life been in a situation where if I saw a girl on the street, I never thought to myself, damn, if that girl was wearing something more sexy, I would go up to her and slap her ass.
No, that's not.
I've
that's
never
not it.
thought that in my life. So even if a girl was walking around butt ass naked, I wouldn't think I had the right, or I wouldn't even have any inclination to think that I would be able to go up there and smack her ass.
Majority of dudes, you are correct. They have some sort of a filter. Majority of the dudes, first of all, the third of the dudes are afraid to go up to talk to a girl. I know that.
Let alone go touch her in some
Let
asshole
alone
way.
go touch her or say something.
Right.
The other third gonna come up and say some dumb shit, and she's gonna be like, "Bro, I don't want to talk to you."
Right,
You know what
and
I mean?
those guys are gonna be like that regardless of what the
Yeah,
girl's wearing.
100%.
It doesn't matter.
Correct.
Like it doesn't matter.
You're gonna have that,
You know?
But when a girl is wearing like sweatshirts and like sweatpants, right? Like she's leaving the gym like without like having tights on or whatever, right? Loose clothes. Let's just put it. She's wearing loose clothing versus tight clothing. The likelihood of her drawing that attention from that predator it goes up.
Well,
How do you know? How do you know that though?
So
what difference is that?
Like I can tell you.
If he's a predator, he's a predator. No?
So this is an anecdotal. They've done this experiment in in New York. They had a girl, same girl, dressed in pretty skin tight clothes, pretty revealing clothes, and she walked down the street. Like dudes were catcalling left and right.
They put a girl out as bait for this experiment?
Yes.
Yo, we're fucked up as a country, son.
No, the
we
girl,
got issues.
Girl agreed on that because this is
That's even worse. We're fucked.
No, but these are social experiments that you have to do.
No, you don't. No, the hell you don't.
Because you have people like that. They're saying it's jealousy. It's not. It has nothing to do with jealousy. Because if you were jealousy, I would go in and try and force, make her feel bad about it, this and that and that and that. Just to keep her around and morally push on person. That's what jealous people do.
I know. You probably think you're protecting her in a way.
No, not even that.
Oh, then if you're not protecting her, then why do you care?
Because if those are my boundaries, because if you're gonna be with me, I don't want that with me.
But if it's not for her protection, what is it really about, Jay?
What do you mean? What is it about? This is my boundaries. That's what I want.
So you care more about your boundaries than her actual protection?
I must say I see it as a protection thing personally.
That's what I would think. If you're gonna have that mindset,
I personally
would think it would be about protecting her, not about anything
No, because
else.
I don't want to use this bullshit protection thing because I understand that these situations are pretty rare. They're pretty rare. However, I'm willing to stand up towards these situations. I don't have an issue with that. Now, it's my boundary. Like I don't want to have the person that's next to me portraying a certain aspect about my life because I have my life in order and I like to be my life in order. I'm driving my car. If you want to hop in my car and go this way, this is how this car is going to drive. So if you want to hop in a car and then change the course of this car driving, that's just not going to happen. So those are my boundaries. I'm driving this way. This is how I am. So if you like to be part of it, no problem. These are my boundaries. And this is why I told this person the first time. I said, listen, this is not something I prefer. Tell me now, and I have no problem with you doing this. I have zero problems with you doing this. They're not saying, you shouldn't. No. Just do whatever you want.
All right, so it's a relationship boundary specific for you.
Correct.
All right,
He's not saying that the world shouldn't do this. He's saying, I don't want my girl doing this. That's all he's saying.
I mean, the thing is, like, to me, it's on you the second time when she wore the shirt.
Correct.
Right? But it's on her the first time for making the decision to stay with you after you said that. If she really wants to be free in what she wears, if she really doesn't think that that's inappropriate and it's fine and she'll be all right, then yeah, I mean, I feel like she should have just said, we're not right for each other. Maybe we should just be friends.
And I agree with that.
Because she needs somebody who's going to be okay with that. The same way you need somebody who's not going to be okay with that.
And I agree with that. This is why I gave her the choice. Hey, listen, this is what's going on. Very calm, very nice, no screaming, nothing. And this is what's going on. If you elect to do this, that's fine. I'm okay with that. If you elect to leave and never call me, I'm okay with that.
So, I mean, one thing I hate in relationships, and I know women hate it too because I've been told by multiple women that they hate it, is ultimatums. Like when you give somebody an ultimatum, it smells like the relationship's about to be over.
Well,
because especially if that shit happens early and y'all ain't been through nothing real. If you're giving each other ultimatums, then that's fundamentally problematic.
Well, see, this is not an ultimatum. I'm giving him the choice. You have two choices. Either
that's an ultimatum.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
You do this or you do that.
Yeah, because I know exactly what I want, and I'm not afraid to enforce these things. You know what I'm saying? By saying what I mean by enforcing, before y'all jump the chat. What I mean by enforcing, by voicing my opinion and say what I like and what I don't like. And it's up to you now to decide what would you like to do with this situation. I gave you the ball. Now it's up to you to drive it.
Yeah. And
yeah, if you elect to say...
She didn't meet the criteria the second time.
Correct. That was my thing. It's like, hey, listen,
it would be cool if she was here, because I would ask her, I would be like, why did you continue to be with Jay even though you knew that that's not the kind of man you wanted to be
and you
with?
Invited him the day you knew you were wearing that shirt he didn't like, right? Like, that's the thing too, right?
Like, and let me ask you this: after she showed up with the shirt the second time, did you break it off with her after that?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So at least you did that.
Cut off. Yeah, no, cut off completely.
Because y'all are not right for each other.
Cut off completely.
Boundaries need to line up.
Oh yeah,
we may think boundaries are weird, but
we never introduced Kevin, by the way. Dad's like, who's the guy in the red hat?
I did introduce him.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Hey guys, hit the like button because we're having some deep conversations right here.
He's like my dad. I don't remember.
So to me, it's like, I don't have a lot of criteria, right? Well,
that's cap.
The last one is up to interpretation. I think all the guys have pretty much.
Don't laugh, Mickey. Nothing worse than you.
Yeah. No. So for me, fit, feminine, friendly, and don't embarrass me. And I think every guy wants a girlfriend that's fit, feminine, friendly, and then don't embarrass me part is, I think, different for each one of the guys. Whatever the thing is that embarrasses that guy, he doesn't want that around.
I feel like some men that don't look at that as like an important part, which I mean, I think.
So that's what I'm saying. That's why that don't embarrass me part is different.
It's very like selective.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Yeah, for someone it might be this thing. For someone it might be the other thing. You know what I mean? For somebody might say, a woman needs to be seen, not heard. Things like that. Just, I think throughout all the countries that I've been to, I've heard that saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they might say these things. For somebody, that could be the embarrassment part. For somebody, could be the embarrassment part when you're taking her out to a business meeting and she opens her mouth and says something stupid and your deal falls through because of something stupid that was said. That could be an embarrassment. Or she could say something smart. Your deal actually works. That's somebody you want to keep around, because she's actually helping you with your life versus being an obstacle. You know what I mean? So I think that embarrassed me, but that's why I said I don't have a lot of criteria, but that last one is up to her to figure out what is it that embarrasses me and not to do it. I think that's for me.
Have you been embarrassed before?
No, because every time something like that happens, I'll tell him one time, and then a second time is cut off if that happens again. Because again, as I said, those are my boundaries. I'm not afraid to lose you. You know what I mean? Because I have options, and especially being successful in the way I'm going, I have options. I don't have to worry about anything. So it's this, and then second time it happens, it's cut off, because I don't want to go back on my word. That would be being jealous if you try to enforce it the second time, just to keep them around. That would be jealous, and then you mentally put them down. That's wrong in my opinion. So. I don't know. I don't know. What y'all think?
I mean, it's a relationship boundary. Y'all got any thoughts? I feel like.
I mean, no. So I'm kind of on the same spectrum as Jay, but not 100% agree with what he's saying, because I said I look at it as more like a protection thing, in the sense of I do not blame her for wearing I don't blame her
not at all
for what this asshole does. Right? I don't blame her.
As a matter of fact, I don't blame the chick for wearing that shirt. No. I don't blame her for it.
I kind of just look at it in a situation that I believe it makes it more likely to happen. So it's just you're pushing yourself more towards that edge when you could pull yourself back to keep yourself a little more safe. Yeah. I get wear whatever you want. Cool, wear whatever you want.
But see, that's another thing. I also understand that's another thing. Especially if the girl is good looking, she's going to have that type of attention. It's totally up to this girl to push that attention away from her, right? She should be, if she's with you, she should be like, yo, I'm not interested in you. You need to leave me alone.
Yeah.
Because that's gonna happen no matter what,
so
especially
for
if
sure,
she's good looking.
Alex mentioned earlier, I'm not afraid of people catcalling my girl. I'm not afraid of that, because when you're with somebody, you have to just trust that they're gonna be able to like he said, fuck off. right?
So I didn't.
So
I didn't
you
finish.
can't be afraid of catcalling a girl. You definitely can't be afraid of that when you have a girl that's good looking. So like that's not gonna happen.
So I
you know
didn't
what mean?
finish about the experiment. So the experiment was super.
Or sorry, that's
extreme.
gonna happen. People are gonna catcall girls.
Experiment was super.
They're
extreme.
assholes, but they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Experiment was super extreme. They had a girl wearing whatever you want to call scandalous clothing, right? And then same girl was wearing like a hijab and a full burqa, and she walked the same street. The workers that were there the first time when she had a lot of catcalling. The second time she still got catcalling, which what you said, because it doesn't matter what she wears. She got catcalled, but the amount was significantly less. So is she gonna get catcalled? 100%. That's gonna happen, but it's gonna eliminate the likelihood.
Like, it's less probability of that happening, just because I feel like it correlates. Like I'm speaking out of like straight opinion, right? Because you asked me earlier, like, how do you know this? I'm like, I'm just thinking this, right? So this is just the way what I believe, right? So, in the sense of like showing, like, as I'm a guy, right? I'm attracted to women, so showing more skin draws more attention, like from guy to girl kind of thing. We're fucking horny monsters. That's just literally what a guy is.
Blame
like
testosterone.
How
Sorry.
we love to talk. Like some guys will just talk about how pussy runs the world, kind of thing. Like what most like guys do is for pussy, kind of thing. Like a lot of men have that mentality. I don't believe that 100%, but like a lot of people believe that, and like they move forward because like I want to like get like a wife, I want to have kids, I want to be somebody, and I want to have a family. Like that all starts, you gotta be able to get someone with someone.
Yeah, but I mean like let's break down the experiment, because I think the experiment is fundamentally wrong, because there are cultural differences in what's sexy, right? Different cultures find different features sexy.
Yes.
Different cultures find different clothing sexy. How are you gonna put a girl in New York wearing scandalous Western clothing in one frame, and then in the next frame wearing a hijab from another country? Like how do we correlate that to reality? Like how is that close to reality? Like figure out what people wear in that culture, in that specific area, identify what's considered scandalous in that cultural norm and what's considered covered up in that cultural norm. That's a better experiment.
What was the girl wearing?
So it was very revealing clothes. Like I think it was a short skirt and like a super high,
like a tube top kind of thing.
Tube top, but very skinny, no wearing a bra or anything like that.
And what was the like non-scandalous?
Oh, full like a dress like an Arab girl.
Oh, so
they were complete extremes.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I 100%. That's too like extreme. Like you're going too far on this end, too far on this end.
Like you were trying to prove the point you wanted to prove. Like you did that on purpose. That's why you chose those variables.
But then there's a lot more to it, right? Like if you want to go deeper into,
you barely can see your face.
Into this,
it's like, are you even a woman?
Yeah, you can barely tell. Yeah.
How do I know you sexy?
So
how do I know if I feel?
They went even deeper into this. It's not just American culture, right? Like this is across the world. So, and they came out to the conclusion, the reason like you have OnlyFans is such a big deal, strip clubs are a big deal, a lot of dudes, like because if the dudes didn't have that draw, these businesses would literally bankrupt overnight, right? Like we don't even have to talk about how like OnlyFans is being paid by guys. Like the reason they even exist is because dudes are paying their bills, basically, right? So the conclusion was that because the way we developed throughout evolution, like monkeys, right? If you compare the closest primates, they can tell because like when the female is in heat, female monkeys in heat, they can tell because things happen with their body and they start producing odors and smells like that indicates this. But with us, what happened as we evolved, we started putting clothes on and started concealing all that. So guys had to develop other ways of telling whether the girl is interested in them or not, right? So when the girl takes the clothes off completely, us guys, we cannot dissociate, majority of guys cannot dissociate the difference between a girl that's taking it completely off, meaning, hey, it's going to be sexy time, or is it just work? So this is why this industry...
Whoa. I do not accept that as a truth from my own personal consciousness. When I see if I see a girl taking her clothes off and it's not my girl or it's some random girl on the street, there's nothing in my brain that's telling me that girl wants to have sex with me right now. Like there's nothing in my brain that's telling me that.
That is true, and I agree with you. You might be one of the exceptions, but
what?
Yes.
My brother doesn't think like that. My cousins don't think like that.
Yeah, but
y'all don't probably think like that either, do you? Y'all think that?
I mean, in that situation that you're putting it, not exactly no. So,
but the point
It all depends
is
on
that
if you're single or not.
but put it this way,
man.
like.
because it was no, I'm telling you, this is something. It's not my opinion.
I'm just like we
Take
have,
it.
We
This
have
is
like
not my
higher
opinion.
like consciousness and logical reasoning. Like we have culture, we have social norms, we have society and policing and like what's accepted. Like there's a level of self control that we have to have when
that
seeing
didn't
certain things
exist,
in the environment.
If that didn't exist, like great.
But
would
I
be a
agree
much
with the
bigger
self
thing.
control
But it
part, but
exists.
that
It
your
The reason it
testosterone
exists
and
because of that.
biological like impulses don't give a fuck about such societal norms and all those
Yeah,
things.
Right. But
the reason
but
majority of
acting
guys-
on them or not acting
Yeah,
on
no,
them?
100% control.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
agree
yeah,
with.
control.
So this is what I'm
100%
saying.
agree
If
with.
that didn't exist, right, and this whole thing of societal norms that we're talking about didn't exist, the reason those norms are in place is because to curb what testosterone can do to a guy's head, right? This is why we have these norms.
Is there a reason why that needs to be curved? Is this an agenda of God or is this an agenda of some specific group of people?
No, this is an agenda because we live in a civilized world. We have to make the world and countries a better living place for all. So that's why we have these rules. Like, for example, democracy. The reason democracy works is because, in general, people can be selfish. So democracy institutes laws where it's more even. Like, you can be selfish, but you know what? If I go and take this, I'm going to get in trouble. So that deters people from doing those things. Majority of people, like a big chunk of the people, right? So this is why you put these societal norms in place, because you want to make the world and an environment around you safer for you, not only for you, but for you. Maybe it's your sister, maybe it's your mother, maybe it's your grandma, maybe it's your cousin that's a female or a male, doesn't matter, right? Like, this is why we have these norms. But the whole point of this is that the guy, our subconscious cannot disassociate and tell the difference. Like, she's working, that's an immediate, there's a feeling of, oh, she must be attracted to me, that's why she's taking her clothes off in front of me.
I mean, it depends on the context, though, right? Like,
well, then,
like,
no,
a guy can't possibly think that if he's walking down the street and a woman that doesn't even see him starts taking her clothes off, that she wants to have sex with him in that moment. There's no way he could think that.
I understand that, but what I'm trying to say, the guy's gonna maybe approach and talk to her. But what I'm trying to say, for example, OnlyFans, when there's a one-to-one conversation going on, these
Right? Me neither.
these people,
She got
these
the
people,
Fuck that.
these people build.
I wouldn't trust it, right?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, these people build
too
online
skeptical on that
relationships.
shit.
Right? It's like, nah, this is not happening right now.
Yeah, but these people like build online relationships with these cam girls. You know what I mean? Like, they think that there is some sort of a love affection going on because she's doing all these things and
Yeah,
saying
but that's
these
not
things.
about her. That's about
And-
him.
And
Correct.
not,
Correct.
That's all about him. She's
Correct.
taking advantage of the fact that
Correct.
she knows there's a lot of dudes out there that's lonely and got issues
Correct.
with self.
Correct.
And got issues with feeling powerful.
Correct.
And got issues with feeling
1000%.
confident.
Correct.
Like she is her audience, because everybody has an audience, right? Like
Correct.
this podcast has
can
an
we
audience.
put that correct on a
you know.
soundboard?
Correct.
Preach, brother.
Correct.
Every product
And this
has
is
an
what I'm
audience.
going
Like
to.
that's their audience.
Correct.
And that's
And
a
this is what
legitimate
I'm
audience
going
to
to.
target if you're doing what they do.
This is
Don't
exactly
do it
what
again.
I'm going to. This is where exactly I'm going to, because they cannot disassociate that this person cannot disassociate that this is actually what's going on. This is the reason why strip clubs exist. This is the reason why OnlyFans exists. This is the reason why prostitution exists. Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, if you're in if you're putting yourself in those situations, then yeah, like if you paid for sex, yeah, you're gonna think that you're about to have sex if she takes her clothes off in front of you. Like, why wouldn't you? You paid for it.
Correct. And I agree with all that. But the point is that your testosterone and your subconscious cannot disassociate that her taking off her clothes doesn't mean that she's interested in you or not interested in you. You automatically assume that she is, because we had to develop, because that was a sign that she is interested in you, and this was a sign to mate back in the day, right? It's through evolution as we started putting more clothes on. That was the sign that she's ready to mate with you.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, some guys care if a girl's interested in him or not. Some guys actually don't.
Correct.
And I actually want the girl to be interested in me. Even if she could be
100%.
smoking hot. If she's not interested in me, she's less hot to me in that moment. Like, I'm
agree
actually
with that.
not interested in you either because you're not interested in me.
No,
Like, there's
at
a reason why.
At that point,
1000%.
yeah, at that
Jay,
point,
I have
it's
a
not that.
question.
It's not that. It's just a numbers game, right? Like, it is what it is. She's not interested. There's another one out there. You know what I mean? And if you got a rotation of plates going, it doesn't even matter if the one is not interested. If you're gonna add her to the roster or not.
Jay,
She's
does the
got a nice little
psychology
menu.
work the same if a guy takes off their shirt
No.
No, fuck.
No.
She's got like a first line, second line, like whole like reserves set up. Like this man's playing like fantasy
Third
football
string.
with his fucking bitches.
Yeah, but that's don't get me wrong. That's a very small percentage of guys that can pull that shit off, right? It's extremely small.
What is the
percentage that-
percentage of guys that like don't have sex at all? You know that shit.
So right now, what they were saying, like according to 2018 data, they were saying about 22% of the guys of age of 30 haven't even had sex for an entire year or are virgin, right? So now the new data is coming up, and they want to say like the CNN and everybody actually started putting like news articles. Two out of three guys right now are in that predicament, which means they haven't had sex for an entire year or are virgin up to year.
I'm mad. I'm mad that a sample size large enough to create this statistic even exists. Like, why did enough people admit
They
that
don't
they
have
didn't
to.
have sex?
They
in
don't
a long
have to.
time? Then
They don't
how are
have
we
to.
determining this then? If people aren't saying it,
Simply taken, there's a really good book. It's called Dataclysm. The guy he was one of the inventors of OkCupid, I think. Yeah, it was OkCupid. So they broke down the data, and then what happened was, depending on which dating website you look, women on average swipe right, meaning say I like this guy, between 20 to 5% of the time. Now that data that I'm talking about, Dataclysm data, is old. The new data that's coming out, women on average swipe right about 5% of the time. In majority of the time, those matches that happen, they never come to fruition. And then if they do come to fruition, when there's the first meeting, nothing ever happens out of that. And then if there's something that happens, it's a very small percentage. Where guys swipe right on average about 54% of the time to say yes. So what that tells is that girls are much pickier, much pickier than guys. And most of the time they swipe right on a certain subset of guys. Meaning it's the same guys, the majority of women swipe right on.
So you're telling me that this data was collected because of swipes?
yeah,
Correct.
like
That's
using,
not valid.
using
No,
dating
not.
site.
I can't
data,
see that
like,
as valid.
What's the number one way of people meeting nowadays?
I get that.
So?
I get that. But that is not a valid way
Oh,
for you
yeah.
to say 22% of people are either the celibate or virgins.
Yeah.
Or this
No,
and that.
no.
How does that come from that?
That data was self-reported. That data was
Oh, okay.
anonymously self-reported, and we all know that guys like to always say more than what they really have, because that's what guys do, and girls usually
Other
like to
guys
say
like to just
less than
troll.
what they really have, right? So by taking those into account, the data is actually worse than what the actual data said it is. Do you see what I'm saying?
Do you feel bad for these men?
I kind of do, but there's nothing you can do about it.
Why
There's
do you
things that
you
can
feel
do.
bad? Why do you feel bad for them?
Because not necessarily
it's just
bad.
an
not
I
necessarily-
feel like
There are things
I
It's
feel like you
probably
could
the
just say
wrong
that
word.
Go
it's
watch
like you
some
feel
Andrew
bad
Tate
because
videos.
Wait, say what?
They can go watch some Andrew Tate videos.
Yeah,
No,
that'll make them feel better, right?
I think it's a
That'll make 'em feel good.
good way for them. I think it's a good way for them to tap into their masculinity if that's what they want to
not,
do. I
Peterson.
don't know.
It,
Peterson-
you watching
Peterson?
Andrew Tate?
Yeah.
Actually, I can't
You're
even
one
speak
of
on
those
Andrew Tate
guys?
because I don't even know what he looks like.
Yeah.
I've never listened to him.
So I think if they watch his long form content as opposed to watching just the clips, I think they can get a lot of.
I think it
good
depends
from
on
it.
what your algorithm is too, because for example, even the clips, like the clips I get of Andrew Tate are all like inspiring, motivational shit. Just
same.
do better, stop being a dickhead, get off your ass, kind of like clips, right? Like
Like,
you
push
should
you
do
to
this.
do
Like
stuff.
you don't want to go to work today, but you gotta go to work today. Like that's just like kind of clips like he posts. And then like the things I do see that people are like, oh, he's being sexist or he's like anti-feminine, like they're clearly jokes.
Yeah.
Like he's 1,000% joking. Like anybody who takes that serious is really stupid.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of like things I see. I mean, apparently, like I have seen like small clips of like I don't see very often, but I have seen of him like bit legit like what people would call like against feminism, but I don't see that often. Personally,
Because it's this video editing is super easy to clip something up out of context and then
course.
blast it.
Yeah,
but
that
the
too.
point is, I think in my opinion, those guys, there are a couple of things they can do to improve their situation. Number one, there's some things that they cannot do anything about, right? Now, number one would be maybe getting their shit in order, meaning go improve yourself, get a better job, start making money, right? That's number one. But we all know that there's bunch of guys that make ton of money, but yet they don't know how to act with women. So second thing would be maybe, learn how to communicate with women, or understand what women want or don't want, or learn how to talk to them.
The thing that sucks is like, it's kind of almost like a trial and error thing.
It is.
So
It
it's
is.
like you're not gonna get good at it until you just fucking do it.
And
you know, like it's like a sport.
Hold that
it's
thought.
game. You know what I mean? He's talking game kind of thing.
hold that thought. I'm gonna come back to it. That's actually a really good point that you brought up.
But everybody has their own style of playing.
So
100%.
let's call it a,
100%.
let's call it a
some
game,
grapplers,
right?
some of us are strikers.
Exactly.
So let's call it a game, right? Like half game. Number 3, I think, in my opinion, go to the gym, work out, keep peak physical form, the best that you can do for yourself. You know what I mean? Those are 3 things. I think maybe another thing, maybe like maintaining your I don't know what's the right word, bravado or something like that. You know, like maintaining some sort of a frame.
So my main key for game, like giving guys game, what I would tell them is whatever you do to better yourself, don't do it for anybody else but yourself.
Yes.
If you do that, you're going to be confident. You're going to be yourself. If somebody doesn't like you, it's not going to be because you're a bad person. It's not going to be because you're unattractive. It's not going to be because you're not smart. It's not going to be because none of those reasons. It's not going to have anything to do with you. But I promise you, you will attract a plethora of women that vibe with you and vibe with your true nature. Because like the problem with most men is they're not in their true form. Like they're not in their true form.
Because
like,
they like
That
to
goes so
appease.
deep too.
Yeah.
Like,
They like to appease, and that's the problem. When you're starting appeasing other people, you should get off your game. If you continue on your game and only change if you're doing something
and not only
wrong,
that, it
you know
adds
what I
like
mean?
a not careless, but like a I don't give a fuck attitude. Like I don't care if you say no.
Yes.
Right? Like I'm on my shit. Like this,
Yeah, no, that's fine,
You
'cause
telling
there's
me
somebody
no
else
to
that
a
will
date
say
isn't
yes.
gonna ruin my day. It isn't gonna
Yes.
ruin like it doesn't actually affect me.
right.
So
in some
remember
kind of way. Oh,
when I told you
whatever.
to hold that thought? The reason it's like that, because back in the day, we lived in a very tribal environment, which means there'd be 20, 30 people in a tribe, right? So the guy had to be super, like, they had to be super sure which girl they're approaching, what they saying, and what they doing. Because if they didn't, that meant that they will never reprocreate. They will never have progeny, right? So there's that fear of approach, right? A lot of guys have that.
I've seen a lot of the guys like that are for example, like I have a cousin of mine. He's Dominican, and he's very like I've had this conversation with him. And he's kind of the same thing. He's like, I'm not hearing a no. Like I'm not asking a question unless I know I'm getting a yes kind of thing. So like for him to like start talking to a girl and all these things, like they have to approach him. Like they have to be interested in him.
Oh
It's
no,
like,
hell no, that's
it's like,
never
what do you
gonna
think
happen.
you are, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's
And,
never
you know,
gonna happen.
Not to say that he's never had a girlfriend. Like he has. He's had like plenty of girlfriends and stuff. And but like he's just one of those guys that like he's not gonna walk up like a random girl to ask you to dance. He's not gonna like ask for some random girl's number just because he thinks she's pretty and is interested. No, never.
Here's a invaluable point of game, right? Like, let's say you're in a bar, you see the hottest girl in the bar. You just walk up to her, say something funny, have her laugh. Even if she's gonna say no, not gonna give you her phone number, Instagram, whatever it is. Even if she's gonna say no, but she's gonna laugh at your joke, because women watch. If these women see that this pretty girl just laughed at your joke, that means by just perspective, she just cleared you for not being weirdo. So now you can approach any other girl at the bar and they're gonna have a conversation
Seems
with
like
you.
a
And
common tactic.
You can
Yeah,
almost
that's called a mate choice selection.
And you can, and not only that, like you can kind of use it, like for example, if you're not used to talking to girls, you could definitely use it as like a strategy to like make it easier. Like, don't necessarily have the goal of like I'm getting something out of this. Go up to a girl and be like, hey, I really think your eyes are pretty, or you have a great smile, and just fucking walk away.
Yeah.
Just fucking walk away.
Yeah.
And just leave them with that like mic drop kind of thing, and just walk away.
So-
Like I don't care. I don't even want anything out of this. I just want to tell you.
That's a
So
that's
I've-
a strategy.
I've done this. I've done this myself. I've approached a girl, made her laugh, and then I was like, "Hey, can I have your Instagram?
You guys,
By the way, what's
you guys
your
are
name?"
probably too old, but there's literally have you guys watched Drake and Josh? Or you're probably too old, right?
No, I've seen Drake and Josh.
You've seen Drake and Josh?
I didn't really like it, so I didn't like keep watching
okay.
it.
But there's
I
a
saw a few
famous
episodes.
episode of Josh is like the fat corny brother,
Yeah.
right? He learns that same thing. His mom is the one who tells him, go to that girl and just tell her you like your shoes and walk away. And he goes, he does that, and then the girl like why are you leaving? That kind of thing, and like goes and chases him down and gets his number, kind of like that works.
Yeah,
I feel like,
that works for Disney characters.
yeah,
I'm not a
no,
fucking Disney
you're not gonna
character,
get
like,
the number, right?
that
Because you
shit's
didn't
never
ask for
happened.
it. The girl's not gonna chase you down.
You know?
But I feel like it could definitely be like a strategy to like get yourself used to it, and what you said, validation amongst the other ones.
So
there.
that's called mate choice selection, and they've done this with the closest primates, the chimps, right? right? So what they did, they put a male chimp in a cage.
Are you a monkeyologist?
No, well, I've been reading a lot about this shit.
Monkeyologist? You bring up monkeys a lot. I'm like, yo, I want to see your textbooks.
Yeah, I'll show you. I'll show you. I'll show you.
It's like they were published last year.
Yeah. So they put him in a cage, right? And then they brought in 2 chimp females. These females didn't want to do anything with them. Like they just they were in his corner. He was in his corner. They were in their corner. And then what they did, they took 3 chimps, 2 females and a male, put them all together into one cage, right? And then they started introducing new female chimps into the cage. All of these new female chimps that were introduced to the cage were all about this chimp. It was the same exact chimp, just different chimp females. So it's called mate choice selection, right? Where like you got hot girls around you, what that indicates to the other girls that you're not a weirdo. Because think about it, what happens when you approach a girl, right? Like they're all together, oh, we gotta go to the bathroom. When they go to the bathroom, what do you think they're talking about? Oh, what do you think about this guy? I hope he's not a weirdo, blah blah. Oh no, girl, he's cute. You know, like this is what they're talking about. It all depends on what their friend is gonna say. If their friend says, oh wait, he's got weird vibes, you're never gonna see that girl again. But if they're her friends, like give her the like, you know, the blessings, she gonna come back.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think that's a rule. That's a rule whether or not you're in a relationship, or if you're not looking for a relationship, that's one thing. But if you're looking for a relationship, you got to get along with her friends anyway. So it's like killing 2 birds with 1 stone when her friends already like you, and if she likes you too, then that's icing on the cake.
I have to say, after being in a, well, sorry to cut you off, Jay, but definitely now, like for example, I've been with Emily for 7 years now, right? And
hey, congratulations!
Thank you. Well, we're going on 7 this year in August.
Yo, hashtag GhettoRig wedding.
She actually told me the day. She's like 6.5. Anyways, I definitely could not go into another relationship and like have her be like distant from my friends, or like have like her friends are my friends kind of thing, right? Like our friend group is all together, and I've seen a lot of relationships where it's not like that. It's like the friend groups are kind of separate. I could not do that. I fucking could not do that. Yeah. Because if in any kind of way it's like, oh, I don't like that person, like she has a friend where I'm like, I'm 100% advised like hanging out with that person. It's for a reason. It has a valid reason, and I would want my partner to maybe understand that or whatever it is. Or like for example, if I want to go hang out with my friends and for whatever reason they're like, oh, but like I don't really like them, or like I just feel weird around them. Like fucking get used to it. Like you feel weird about around everyone that's new. If you're not a social butterfly like some people are, you're gonna feel weird about anybody that's new. So
people are shy.
Yeah, people are shy. I mean, I definitely feel like this is a personal preference. A lot of people don't like care, and a lot of people like go through it on the other end. But after being in a relationship for this long, I don't think I could like have it in that kind of way. Like even my friends that are online, like that Emily barely talks to, like they still all fuck with her. Like they have a nickname for her and everything. Like they're all like good like together. Like when they came down here from Tennessee and New Jersey and everywhere they come from, we all hang out together. It wasn't like, oh, you're gonna go hang out with your gamer friends. No, she came and she hang out with us like one of the boys kind of thing. Yeah. Which I definitely could not have a girl not do that. Yeah, like, I mean, oh no, you're gonna go hang out with your friends. No, fuck that. Not your friends, our friends kind of thing.
Hey guys, please give us a thumbs up because we're giving you some sauce right here with sharing our most inner things that happen. And give us a thumbs up. Help us out, please. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I'm saying like I think there's definitely a time and place for like friend groups to be, you know, united. You know, each person in the relationship has the right to spend time with their original friend group, just them. Like, because sometimes like you got to talk about some shit with your people that have been with you for a little bit longer because they understand you a little bit better. They understand you a little bit more profoundly.
Yeah, not to say you can't hang out with them like on your own because you want to or whatever, but like because your other partner doesn't want to come kind of thing. Like I could not have that.
So you want one thing, and this is I've mentioned this before on a pod, right? Like I think I've mentioned this before. So it's widely known that guys in general, majority of guys don't know how to read a room. Majority of guys, they don't. Unless you've been through life in and out, you know, you've been a business owner, you put yourself through the mud, you had to talk to a bunch of people.
I feel like there's something about us that makes us more like go with the flow. So when we walk into a room, most of the time you're not like examining like who's this person, who's that person.
Correct.
Like if you're in a certain setting, like maybe you're in like a work setting, yes, you are, because you want to know who's boss, who's boss, who's little bitch, like kind of thing. If you're in a work setting, or maybe you're in like a dangerous setting, yeah, you want to fucking keep an eye on the killer or whatever it is. But in like a normal, like you're just going to hang out at someone's, like your friend's house, you don't think about like,
So-
like you walk in the room and examine like, oh, that person's having a bad day or this and that. You just fucking like go with the
So
flow.
for
and
me-
you're there.
So for me,
Women are
like
different.
if I'm walking in a room, I don't know nothing about, I usually try to bring a female friend with me. Why? And I tell her, hey, listen, don't say anything. I want you to observe the room, observe everyone, and tell me what you think about each individual person, especially the people that come up to me and talk to me. I want you to tell me exactly what it is. Don't necessarily talk back or answer question. If you have to, redirect the questions or say something else, but I want you to observe everything. And bro,
Hey,
99
I think we
point-
found Jay's type. He wants a CIA spy.
I was really about to say he wants to
Bro,
spy when he goes places.
99% of the time.
Now when Jay brings a new girl around, I'm like,
Yo, he wants.
she's out.
He wants
She's
Tomb
out here
Raiders.
not
No,
just
the
doing.
group-
He
having
wants Laura
fun.
Croft.
the girl
Laura
that-
Croft.
the girl I would bring around you should be already vetted by now. You know what I mean? That's why she's around you. But if I'm in a room that I don't know anyone, 99.9% of the time I've ever done this, it was on a fucking dot. She told me right away who's gonna stab me in the fucking back, who will be a great like a partner, who will be whatever. Tells me immediately what's what within 5 minutes. I don't even need to be there for a long time.
Now is she 100% right? We don't know that, but did she like do her best to examine? Yeah,
100%. And this whole comes from the thing, and I you know, I cannot give him enough credit for having this, even though that developed through a very bad the sixth sense that they have developed through super bad circumstances. You know, back in the day they had to know what they were doing, because it literally meant death back in the day. So they had developed this by right away just like seeing someone and right away being able to say what's up. You know what I mean?
It's not about they developed it through stress. Women have inherent divine feminine energy that makes them intuitive and creative. Like that's their natural power. Like our natural power is to be logical and strong and fierce. You know what I'm saying? Their natural power is to be soft and intrinsic and intuitive.
observant.
You know what I'm saying? They feel energies. You know what I'm saying? They feel energies in rooms.
No.
They feel energies about people way better than we can ever.
Now you can call it energy, whatever,
What's
but
that?
I call it evolutionary course of action. You know, where they had to develop this because otherwise it meant death. You know what I mean? So whatever you want to call it, however you want to call it, it's acceptable. You know, the point is that like that's game right there. Like, you know, you bring a girl with you, especially if you're in a business meeting and you don't know this person and you're gonna go into business with them. Bring a girl with you. She doesn't say anything, just observes the conversation. She will tell you exactly if this person's gonna stab you in the back or they're gonna be a good partner. Unless they're a sociopath, then
This also needs to be a smart, competent woman.
That same girl that'll read a room to a T and tell you everything that's going on will watch a movie with you and sit down and ask you what's going on the whole time.
Yeah, right? And then she's like if you lived in the universe, like, oh, why is he doing that? Bitch, I'm watching it with you. I don't know.
I mean, it depends how into it she is. Like my girl pretty much loves everything that we watch because you know she likes watching a lot of cool stuff, and I like a lot of stuff we watch.
I've gotten my girl,
but she don't be talk. If any, I probably talk more than she does during shit. And there's certain shows that we both love that we don't talk. Like,
Yeah,
my girl.
we watching this
got
right
a
now.
question every 5 minutes.
You know, Emily, I can say Emily was like that, and then I started like just kind of like literally shoving like material down her throat. Like, we're watching Star Wars, we're watching Harry Potter. I don't give a fuck. We're watching like
Yo, you just snitched on yourself on live television, son.
bro.
Domestic
Everyone
violence-
knows this.
Domestic
Everyone
violence
knows.
case.
Hey, guess what? Now she loves Star Wars. Fuck it, it ain't my fault anymore. What's that classic movie of the four boys, like really good friends, that find the dead body? Like there's like the Family Guy parody episode.
Yeah. Oh fuck, I always
Wrong
forget
turn.
that.
I got
Wrong turn.
no. Damn.
Four friends that find a dead body.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes, and
They
there's
do
a-
so many parodies
Talking
of
about
that
the
shit.
car
Yeah.
that goes up the hill.
No. So it's a story of these four little boys like back in like the 70s. I think this movie came
Goonies?
Yo, Jorge Coste said, Eddie, don't come home too late, please. Your bedtime is soon.
No, I don't. But so I say, you know, it's different. So I know this conversation started with having like boundaries, and I think as a guy you need to have boundaries, especially in a relationship, because it's not being hurt or being jealous or being insecure. I would say it's being super secure.
Stand
because
by Me.
I don't know.
Stand by Me is a movie.
For sure. Like I have a boundary.
Really good movie.
Like I have a boundary of I don't want to be with somebody who still hangs out with their ex. Like,
100%.
like
Oh, no,
period.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, yeah.
like, and
100%.
people could say like, oh, you're insecure. I'm like, you know, I've released a lot of trauma. I've done a lot of work on myself, and I still feel that way. So to me, it's not an insecurity. This is just like my boundary, and I'm okay with that. You know, I don't think
a lot of people.
No, bro, that's
Yeah,
it.
like,
That's
I
a
don't-
normal
I don't
thing to
think
have.
a
That's
normal
nothing
thing,
to
yeah.
do with.
stand by me. I think that's
I just
personal.
yeah, that's what
Yeah.
you said.
Okay.
Stand by me. That's
But
the
yeah, I
movie. It's a
think
really
like
good
you
movie.
know, and I'm okay with relationships where you know the guy's okay with that, the girl's okay with that. Like I don't judge them. I don't think that they're bad.
Your
It's, I
problem,
think it's cool
right?
that they trust each
Yeah.
other that much. But you know, that's just my
But
boundary.
yeah,
that's
that's
just what
not
it
about
is.
you. Yeah, you
know,
can
I
continue
and I
trusting
gotta
them, yeah.
find a woman, and I have found a woman that's okay with that boundary and abides by it the same way I abide by her boundaries. You know, so
I
that's,
100% agree with that.
that's
You know,
what a
like,
partnership is. You know, you make,
definitely
you
could
make
not
it
have
work.
that. So Kevin came today and brought some news to me that
What's
you know
up?
we were talking about kind of firearms before
Yeah.
the thing started. If you want to give us the news, Kevin.
Supposedly on Friday they passed the law, the bill for permitless carry.
The House did.
The
I
House
don't know,
passed the
man.
bill
How
for
much?
permitless
I don't
carry.
know how much. I don't like this at all.
For Florida. This
Well,
is for
yeah,
Florida,
for
by the
Florida.
way.
Yeah.
So this
I'm
would
not,
be-
I'm not gonna be here for much longer. So
Permitless concealed carry. It's
And
not
it
open.
gives you an allowance to pull out, to unholster your firearm in case of a
And
dangerous
present it,
situation.
and
to
present it.
to present
case
it
of a
like as a
Because
dangerous
right now
threat.
it's a felony.
So
Yeah.
like, what's a dangerous situation? A
So-
black man running at you? Like, is that a dangerous situation? Because
Crackhead-
that's what I'm
somebody
thinking.
running
Of.
at you with
I could be
a
going
knife
for a
or
run,
some other
motherfucker,
weapon.
in the middle of the night, and somebody gonna be like, "Oh, that's a dangerous situation," and shoot me.
Yeah,
You know
no,
what
that's
I'm saying?
That's why.
definitely-
This
there
is
are-
why I
but
don't
it's
agree
not.
with that.
He's not talking about
This
the
is why I
shooting.
don't agree with that.
He's talking about just drawing the gun as a
just
threat.
taking it out.
So you like
Well,
before,
presenting-
for example, if I'm a
presenting your
concealed,
firearm.
My
if I-
understanding is this is presenting. That's presenting.
If one person presents their firearm and another person presents their firearm, somebody's shooting.
Somebody's gonna.
100%.
get
Somebody's gonna
yeah.
pull the
100%,
trigger.
But what
Yes, yeah.
what the law is saying is basically like, if someone approaches you that you feel is a threat, right? You have now the right to show your firearm to kind of say like, back off, dude, kind of thing.
But then at what point where does the stand my ground laws come in? Like at
I
what
don't
point?
agree
Yeah.
with this.
At what point am I walking? At what point am I running past somebody and they shoot me because I was in their stand my ground radius and they drew their weapon? Like,
Well, they're
when
not
does that
talking
happen?
about the shooting part, just showing the gun,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
I don't agree with this whatsoever. I'm a big,
Neither do I,
I'm
yeah.
a big advocate of. I'm showing my gun. I'm shooting it. I am not presenting my gun in any time where I'm not ready to pull that trigger because I'm not giving the other person a chance to present their gun. No, that's not happening. Like if I ever go to show my gun or pull it, it's gonna be shown and pulled and shot.
Yeah,
all
see,
together.
and what Alex is saying is exactly what I'm talking about. With the
So
stand your
here's
ground laws.
here's a common misconception about stand your ground, right? Like a lot of people say, well, there's that standing ground, right? You have to be able to prove it that was a stand your ground situation.
Yeah.
Which takes resources, money, good lawyers, going back and forth to courts. Not everyone can do that. Like not everyone would be able to prove that they were able to do that, right? Like or they did it within the law, right? So the point with that is why I don't agree with this.
But can I say though, I don't agree with the whole permitless carry, at all.
Yeah,
At
I don't
all.
agree with that
But
either,
am I
yeah.
gonna abuse it? Just fuck around and find out. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what's important is people are educated on how to use a firearm properly.
I
Firearm
100%
safety,
agree.
That's really the most important thing because I feel like people are more likely to shoot themselves if they don't
Yeah.
know how to use something.
Yeah.
1,000%.
So it's like
1,000%.
get the
They're
education.
they're
Like if you're gonna
eliminating
be
that
dumb and
whole-
not have a permit, you might as well be.
You might be a
educated
cheddar
on
bob.
Yeah.
You might
Right,
be
you
a
might be a cheddar
cheddar
bob.
To
of
me-
8 Mile, exactly.
to me,
Exactly.
I'd rather have them do open carry, but with a permit. Do an open carry. This way, you don't have to present shit. You don't have to do any of
Joe,
that.
you know, Joe Rogan was talking about how in Texas it's kind of like, you just see everybody with their big ass 357 open carry, and it's just like nobody's fucking around. 'Cause everybody knows that motherfucker's loaded. And it's not like because you just assume. No, you see that shit.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, and I agree with that more. I don't know why they did this dumbass. No,
It's
'cause
it's
at the
almost like
very
a
least,
weird
which is
thing.
nothing, but they do a background check on you. You know what I mean? Like at least that background check is there. Now they removed that background check completely. So I could technically travel to Virginia, put that shit in my back trunk, buy a weapon in Virginia from some hillbilly, unregistered or whatever it is, bring it to Florida, and now I'm open to carry it. Nobody knows what the fuck
And
happened.
you don't even have to go to another state.
You could buy it from some
I
hillbilly
can
here.
go to Kevin right now, buy his gun, and it's 100% legal.
Yeah, with the bill of
private
sale.
with a handwritten bill of sale. It's 100% legal.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say.
Like you, with like for example, I just purchased a firearm recently, so I know what like the whole dealer process
Yeah,
is. Right?
yeah.
So,
I just bought a 22 from my boy from New York. He shipped it down to Shoot Straight,
Yeah.
and I went to Shoot Straight and showed them my permit,
Yeah.
and
To
they ran the
FFL.
transaction.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like
That was easy.
That's really easy because that's technically a private sale.
But it went
Felicitated
through
by
an
a dealer.
FFL.
Yeah,
He went
but
through FFL
it's
and got
not. He's not
registered.
actually. But yeah, that's
That's a different
but,
story.
Yeah.
But you're not actually like buying it from the dealer itself.
Right.
You know, they're just felicitating the deal, so they don't really like care what's happening.
Well, no.
They're just like, oh, we're just gonna take our fee and like.
No, they
move you
check.
on.
No. I
They
think
ran
the
back-
FFL they run the, especially if you have a concealed carry, they run you right
they
then.
run
and
Well,
there.
everything.
they run you automatically, but did you have to wait?
It took like 20 minutes.
No,
Like,
if
while I
you
was just
if,
waiting.
no,
If you have
if
your
you have a
concealed carry,
license,
you
it
don't
takes
have to
20
wait the
minutes.
3
If you
days.
don't have a license, it takes 72
If
hours.
you didn't have your license,
72
would they have
business
made,
hours
would
for
they
them
would
to
have
get
made
the
you wait?
request back.
What's that?
If you didn't have your license, would they have made him wait
Yes,
as well?
3 days.
Oh,
you
see,
would have
I
to
don't
wait.
know. I've never not had my license.
So yeah.
Pretty sure
Without
they
the
would've.
license, I know this for a fact because when I purchased mine, I didn't have my license. It was in a
Okay.
process of getting done.
Okay, so I was wrong. I thought it was
Yeah,
different.
I've called Shoot Straight. Exactly where.
But that's because you had it felicitated by a dealer. You don't have to do that private sale. Like I can
Yeah,
just
so
go
if
to
you
you
go
and
to-
sell my gun without having to deal with anybody
Oh
else.
yeah.
The reason I
Yeah.
mentioned that, if you go to a Virginia, let's say it's a fair, it's a weapons fair. You go there, you present them your driver's license. Supposedly they take down the information, but they never do. You give them your money, you take the weapon, and it's over with.
But
And
you don't
could-
have to go to Virginia to do that.
You don't have to. There are
You
other
can do
states,
that
but
here.
in Florida,
You can go to a gun show.
yeah, but they still take your.
They do.
Florida kind of follows those rules a little bit more, but my point is
But you don't have to wait like it's like an authorized dealer.
Yeah, I think you do. They ship it to your local
FFL.
gun store.
Yes,
Yeah.
if you don't
Yeah,
have a
like, he was-
license.
he-
Yeah,
like
yeah.
he wasn't allowed to ship it to my house. Like I
Yeah,
had to
no,
go
no,
to
no.
Shoot
Of course,
Straight
yeah, yeah.
or
Ship it
some
to your
other.
local
No, I
like,
was talking
gun
about the
store.
gun shows though. Okay,
Yeah,
I didn't know
but
that.
you can do it privately, just like you said, private bill of sale
Yeah, I know
and
100%
purchase it,
the whole
right?
private thing because I mean.
But then
my
if
dad
something
has
happens,
purchased
if
guns
something
privately,
happens,
so-
they're gonna go to him and he's gonna say, "Bro, here's the private bill of sale. I have some sort of backup." If he doesn't have that, then he's in trouble. But
Yes.
as a person that understands something, but see that this is not the issue. The issue is it's not the majority of people are gonna follow the rules. It's that minority
what's
that's
one-
gonna do dumb
The
shit.
dumbest fucking rules though. The way they made it. I'm not saying the rule itself is dumb, but the way they didn't fully cover all their bases. The whole thing when they made in Florida, it was illegal for people under 21 because they used to be 18 to purchase a handgun or pistol, right? So an 18-year-old can still go purchase a rifle or a shotgun in certain cases through authorized dealer, but you couldn't until you were 21. So like I had to wait to go to Shoot Straight and buy my guns. I had to wait till I was 21 to go to Shoot Straight and buy my gun, right? But I could just send my dad when I was 18 to buy it and then sell it to me privately, and then I could still be official like legal owner of that gun.
Well, this is
So
why
when
I'm
they
saying,
when they like formed the law, it was only for dealers had to follow this. Like they didn't just generalize this. It was really. I thought that was really.
But if
stupid.
somebody's in business of doing that, let's say they're not a fly-by-night, like if you're talking about big companies such as, the ones that are local, Shoot Straight, or
Like, are you
somebody
talking about like the movie War Dogs?
yeah, sort of. Sorta. When
That's
they
what
go
I'm
to-
thinking about right now
Yeah,
as
that's a
you
good
talk
movie.
about this shit.
Yeah, so I think that they might as well just done a open carry with the license, no problem.
And that shit should not be no $60, not no $125. Should be mad expensive. I'm sorry, but it really should. Just
Well-
like how driver's license should be mad expensive, just like in all other countries it is.
Well, not I
Most
don't
other
I don't know
countries.
See,
mad expensive, but if they implemented, we've talked about this on a pod. Let's say there are a bunch of vets that are coming out, and what they're looking for is because they're coming out from an environment. It's like very white and black. You do this and they follow orders, right? You bring them in, and part of the acclimation is just line them up with somebody that does those concealed carry weapon classes, and then every year have you go out there and then just renew this or mandatory training or something
At
like that. You know what I mean? At
least,
the
like,
very
yeah,
least, some
have
sort
you
of a
go and-
psychological evaluation every year, every 2 years. You know what I mean? Do something like that. And people that like to follow rules, they're going to follow the rules. Yeah, it's going to cost a little bit more, but that's the cost of owning something.
I wonder if how often it happens where you go to get your concealed or how often this happens that like the instructors are straight up just like this dude shouldn't have a gun, and like actually like enforces that, like you're not gonna get your conceal. I wonder how often that actually maybe happens.
I mean, they're
If
not.
it does
They're
at
not
all.
like the people of America will not allow such profound evaluation to occur where we could reasonably make that decision. Like you'd have to do psych evals, you'd have to look into their history, you'd have to have so much data about that person emotionally
have,
and
yeah.
psychologically. And I don't think the American people are gonna stand for that. They're not gonna be like yo, you don't have the right to psychologically evaluate me. Like I'm good
You're reading a book
because
by
I'm
cover.
telling you that I'm
This
good.
reminds me kind
Basically,
of
like-
like
Yeah,
reading
but
a
see,
book by
that's
its
that's
cover, yeah.
this is where I think that democracy needs to come in and say, listen, we get it, we respect what you think. However, if you like to play, you got to pay to play. This is the cost of you playing. You know, just like anything else, you own a car, you have to pay for registration, you have to do oil changes,
they-
you have to
you
change
look
the
at-
fucking
you
tire,
kinda-
you have to make sure your rear brakes, lights work. You know what I mean? You have to do these things.
But I kind of trying to think about it, like comparing the car thing, and it's kind of hard too because we know like here in America, driving we look at it as a privilege, right? Like that's how the government places it.
Correct.
as,
They should do
versus
the same
gun
thing.
thing as a right, right? And then I think of that, and it's kind of just like brings me back to the question of like reminds me of Joe Rogan has this joke on his special where he was talking about how he was like, imagine if Thomas Jefferson came to 2023, he'd be like, you guys are still on this fucking playbook. You're like, you fucking serious? You guys are still on this fucking
Y'all haven't
playbook?
written
Like,
anything
like the
new?
fucking old sea scrolls? Like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
Now, see, this is one thing I don't know, and I haven't gone and done my research on it because I was the other day on an NRA website, and you know they have like what things to do and not things to do, and one of the things was they said you should recycle, meaning you should cycle your old bullets, meaning like if you have old bullets, you use them first, and then use the newer ones.
Yeah.
And to me, I'm automatically thinking, okay, they're saying it's good, but now I haven't done research. Maybe y'all guys know. Is it true that these bullets get old, or they're saying that because it's technically a subscription service to fucking owning a weapon? Because that's, you know, the weapon is not that expensive. What is expensive is the rounds. You know, because you're constantly like buying them, right? So are they saying cycle it so you don't store a bunch of ammunition and you just kind of have to go through it and continuously pay money? Because I could technically buy a weapon, just buy 10,000 rounds and never buy a round again in my life.
Yeah, you know what happens when I have questions like that about a company or product? I do my own research because at the end of the day, the numbers are not gonna lie, the science is not gonna lie.
Look,
Let's
I
just
think-
do a quick
I
look
think,
on-
I think
Yeah.
that does have some type of merit to it because I'm pretty sure if you store ammunition in the wrong conditions, it could go bad.
Exactly. You're 100% correct. But if stored correctly, it is almost indefinitely like.
So what's the correct
Yeah,
and
like
what's
fine.
incorrect?
I'm pretty sure humid, hot areas.
Yeah, well, I'm not
Like
saying
rusty,
bury it in the
mold.
back.
No,
You know
but
what I
just
mean?
in a hot, humid garage.
A dry,
versus
cool
like,
place with low humidity.
Yeah, inside your closet.
Which is basically entire Florida because we're running our ACs 24/7 in our houses.
But I mean, not really in the garages. A lot of people
Yeah.
have like their sheds or their
Yeah,
tools.
if you put
or
them in an
whatever
outdoor place that
garage.
doesn't have AC, there's
Yeah.
risk.
Then there's
Definitely.
yeah.
Definitely. Especially here in Florida.
So basically, instead of them saying, "Hey, these are the conditions," they just saying recycle it,
Recycle them.
as opposed to like actually educating you what's the right
and
way
being
to
like,
do
this is
it.
how you should store them so you don't
Yeah.
have to like
Right.
You know, yeah,
run through them.
Right.
yeah, but that's
course.
actually beneficial for them if you do recycle it because you can continuously
more.
buy new.
Of course.
Okay, so we're kind of both right. Like, so they're not really wrong, but,
But
they're
they're not
not.
giving the
But
full
they're
truth.
not. They're not giving you the
They're not
full
giving
full
the full
story.
It's like when a doctor prescribes you anything. Like they're telling you that this is going to help you, but they're not telling you the symptoms, the side effects. They're
Yeah.
not
They're
telling
not
you.
telling you the
Yeah,
real
yeah.
problem
Right,
either.
they didn't
right?
tell you the real problem. They didn't tell you how you should change your life so that this doesn't happen again.
Oh, that's actually
They're just
another good
giving you a
thing.
pill
They're like,
to-
oh, you have high blood pressure? Okay, well, let's put your blood pressure down.
Right.
What are you doing that is giving you high
Right.
blood pressure?
And they might
Maybe
say,
if we-
they might say like you might, because I've heard some doctors, because I've had family members with high blood pressure. I've heard doctors say, you really should lower your salt intake, like, but they're not prescribing
You're
that.
scratching the surface.
They
of-
need to
Right.
prescribe that. They need
Yeah.
to put that on a piece of paper and say, look, I'm gonna give you these pills for the next month, but I need you to do these things. Like, this is my
And you'll
you know what's
Exactly.
really scary that reminds me of that? Sorry, Kevin, what were you saying?
No, I was just agreeing with him.
That it's a hard subject because none of us are going to be
Hey, how many-
educated, but like medicating children kind of thing, like it reminds me of that, like like you have these kids now, especially that everybody wants to say that I have ADHD or I have ADD, right? Like, so it's like, oh, this kid can't focus, like let's just get them on Ritalin or whatever the fuck it is now, like
Yeah.
that they're giving kids, and that's just scary. This scares like the shit out of me to have to think like I'm getting older now, so like eventually I want to have kids. Like, okay, well, if my kid can't focus, am I really gonna have to pill this kid? I don't want to have to do that. I don't want to have to do that. I didn't have to do that.
They're gonna think about what they want to think about. They're gonna focus on things that they like.
I wasn't a great
It's-
person to focus. Like,
Yeah, same with
So
me. I mean,
so I just read another research article that they did that this is in their premature levels of them doing the research. The research continues talking about doctors and prescribing things, right? Immediately went to that. So you know how girls will hit like 13, 14, 15 get prescribed birth control pills, right?
Yeah.
For one reason or another reason. So they did an experiment. What they did, they took a group of dudes, I don't remember the exact number, and they told them for 5 days, shower, but don't use any kind of soaps, colognes, deodorants, nothing. Just shower. And they gave them this white cotton T-shirt, and they told them after you shower, do this. Wear just this T-shirt all day long. You know, you need to shower again, wear the same T-shirt. And then what they did, they took those T-shirts, put them in a plastic bag, and took these T-shirts to this group of women. And they told them by just taking the T-shirt out, smell the T-shirt, and tell us whether you were attracted to the smell of this person or not, right? And they had two groups of women that are on birth control pills and women that are not on birth control pills at all. And guess what the outcome was? So the ones that were not on birth control pills, when they smelled the T-shirt, they elected a guy, it smelled good for them, elected a guy that is completely immunologically is different from them in every single which way. Like a complete opposite, like a yin and yang, right?
What do you mean by that?
So the immunity profile, like the genetic profile, they were all completely different.
I don't
Like a
understand.
complete
physically?
opposite. Not physically, like the genetic and immune profile, like the what you compose of, your immune system, your genetic composition.
Are you talking about their current state of health? Or
Current state of health. That's
Okay.
it. Perfect.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay, okay.
Their
That
current
helps
state of
me,
health.
like,
The
identify
women,
what he was talking about.
the women that were not on birth control pills selected, the overwhelming majority selected super healthy dudes that had the smell that they liked was for super healthy dudes.
We touched on this briefly last time when Lynette came in at the very end. She was explaining how they have these girls that get birth control like you're talking about, and that certain age especially when they get their period and like they're trying to like, oh, my period's irregular, like, and birth control is gonna help that. Like my sister was explaining that yes, it helps that, but she was talking about how you take birth control for so many years, boom, 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 and then when you try to get off of it, your body starts going through the process that it was supposed to go through when you were 16 because you like held off on it, kind of thing. Which I don't know if that's valid or not. It sounds kind of weird, but it definitely, I think birth control for women is like, for us, A1.
top tier.
For them,
You
that shit sucks.
nobody over here is complaining.
Yeah, it's like on the guy's side,
So-
I'm not complaining.
So
Nobody
So
but
over
the
for
here is
them, that
interesting-
shit sucks.
interesting part, the ones that were on birth control selected mates, the smell that they liked were in a complete against what would be necessarily good for reprocreating, meaning these guys were not necessarily very healthy. These guys were not
They didn't know what to
necessarily
pick.
like
Were they healthy?
the women. Yes, they tested everyone's levels. So the way they did that,
Did they test their psychological levels too?
No,
Because that matters more than any biological characteristic of a person.
Well, this psychological level. So obviously, what they were saying that again, this is in the premature levels of them doing all this, right? I don't remember exactly if there was anything about the psychological levels or not, but if you do take hormone blockers or hormone enhancers, that's gonna mess with your brain.
psyche,
It's just gonna have to
Yeah.
mess
For
with it
sure.
because the hormones are
Yeah.
gonna be all jaded, right? So so the whole thing was concentration on specifically on a birth control pill, and to tell the difference whether women on birth control will elect someone that's genetically more superior to reprocreate, meaning has a better chance of having a healthy offspring, versus somebody that has a lesser chance to have a healthy offspring because they are not healthy themselves. Does that make sense?
Did they do all this just to sell their brand of birth control?
No, they did all this.
Yo, companies are wild
they
in the
did-
lengths they'll
Yeah.
go, man.
They did all this. It wasn't supported by anybody. I think it was one of the universities that did this
Oh.
study.
That's an interesting thing.
Yeah,
You know,
so that's kind of crazy. I kind of want to know what's gonna come out of this. Like as this study starts going a little deeper into it, like all these questions gonna come up. People gonna start questioning, and I would also like to see whether this is gonna get blocked if something comes up that we don't want to hear. You know what I mean? That's not against the narrative.
You think the odor itself has something to do with maybe men with more testosterone or less testosterone?
That's part of it. I think.
Yeah,
I think that's part of
I
it.
think the odor has to do directly with like what you're consuming. You know, like how much water you're drinking, your salt levels, your blood oxygen content. You know, what's in your blood. Are you sick? Do you have a blood disease? Do you eat a lot of grease? Do you eat a lot of meat? Do you have a lot of cholesterol in your blood? Like, how's your blood? Because you're permeating through your pores, and it's all coming from your blood system.
No,
That's like
listen,
when you
that's
drink a
that
lot of
was the
alcohol, you
that
can
was the
smell
whole
it in your
thing.
sweat.
Right, you could smell it in your sweat because it's all up in your blood alcohol
Yeah.
content.
So that was the whole premise where they took.
Oh, he's talking about pheromones.
So you can talk
Yeah.
about pheromones or whatever it
Yeah.
is because you secrete pheromones. Obviously, your smell is the
Yeah.
pheromones, right?
Yeah.
Like because we're not.
Yeah, I mean
animals.
that's clearly what they're
Right.
testing is like
Yeah.
seeing if like these girls are gonna actually pick up on the pheromones and like their like not psych but like their biology is actually gonna pick up on like differences. And what you're saying is that the girls on birth control are out of whack on this. Like,
completely
picking
out
up
of whack.
on-
They're actually
picking up on
choosing
these
somebody
pheromones correctly.
that has lower testosterone levels, that is unhealthy, and things like that.
Okay, that, I mean
I mean,
I don't know
that-
how that makes sense, but if it's
It
is
kind of
what
it
is,
kind of
yeah.
does because think about it when you do have a baby, right? Like when a guy and a girl have a baby, they both tend to gain weight. The reason it's like that because your body is preparing you for those long sleepless nights because you need that stored energy. This is why you start gaining weight, right? Like they've already proved this, right? So a girl that naturally wants to conceive with someone and have a baby, they want a mate that's gonna stick around because technically they're the protection and provision while she's breastfeeding, while she's pretty much like out of commission for
you're saying like because
providing.
the birth control like where we talked about this on the other part on last time, birth control basically just makes your body like believe it's kind of pregnant in a sense.
it's kind of pregnant and
yeah.
you need a guy that's gonna stick
So
around.
what you're saying is that that's linked to like the reason these girls can't pick a partner correctly through pheromones is because their body's telling them that they shouldn't be looking for another partner.
Correct. Well, not only they shouldn't be looking for another partner, they're looking for a partner that's going to stick around
Yeah.
versus not stick around.
So
That
the
makes a lot
unhealthy
of sense.
person is gonna stick around.
Yeah, no.
So
no.
the unhealthy
Why?
person,
Why would that be true?
because
think the opposite.
unhealthy person most likely not gonna have as many mate choices versus a healthy person. If you think about it, if
See,
they're
you're-
all healthy,
See, I think
you're
that's-
only talking about
I think that's taking-
biological health. I'm talking about mental health too, based upon like the bond that you chose to have with this woman. Like if you were gonna be like with multiple partners and your woman's okay with that, that's one
So
thing. But
let
if
me-
you make a contract and you break that contract, to me, you're not a fully healthy man, even if you're in shape.
so let me put it this way. So let's say you're Tiger Woods and there is a bus
What a
full of
terrible example.
No. It's a great example. And there's a bus full of Switzerland models. The hops out of the bus and starts like getting all over you, like trying to get with you and things like that. As a guy, it's gonna be super difficult to say no to that. It's gonna be super difficult. Can guys say no to that? 100%. But majority of the guys gonna say, "Fuck it." You know what I mean? So the point is when the guy has more choices, when let's say the girl steps out of those boundaries that we talked about, he can say fuck it and then move on to the next one. So what that does, that ensures the guy doesn't have, so they ensure that the guy doesn't have as many choices by them being a less. Does that make sense?
Oh, but so attracting guys that they perceive as having fewer choices because they think
Correct.
that's an interesting
Because they're gonna
hypothesis.
stick around and they're gonna provide the provisioning and security.
See,
an interesting
you
hypothesis.
You can't 100% correlate those two things. That's like a kind of like a theory right there. That
Correct.
specific
That's a
part.
theory.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it's not specifically that. Like they're going to the opposite end of the spectrum for that reason. I just think that they just don't know how to pick. because of that current state, like because their body's pregnant.
But they
or
didn't
pregnant,
pick,
right?
But that was
And
the
so
thing.
they
But they
don't-
didn't pick. Not that they don't know how to, but they didn't pick the ones that were healthy. They went actually against all that. So they actually put the ones that were supposed to be healthy, that prime mate choices, right? They put that to the garbage can pretty much. Said, oh no, I don't like this.
So Jay, didn't you just say
Interesting,
that women have this like ability to just know things? They just feel things. They just have intuition. Didn't you just say that?
Correct.
So wouldn't this play a factor in that? Like, just because we don't know the scientific reason why they chose who they chose, can't that be because they have some intuition that's telling them?
But this
maybe I
intuition
should
is going to
choose this
come
one?
through variables of actually someone's
Because
body
the
language.
only
and all these things.
variable
They're
was
just,
the smell.
They're just smelling. They're just smelling.
just smell.
So that they're not going to have
It's
intuition
not the
just
guy
based
that-
on the smell.
Yeah, it's not a guy that's
Who
walking.
knows?
No,
You know,
it's
some
when I
shirts was
have
sweatier than
intuition when I
others.
smell.
It's not a guy
You know?
that walks up to them with a Cheeto stain and a Mountain Dew stain, overweight and like, hey, how are you doing? Because he's afraid to talk to them and acting all weird. You know what I mean? The only variable was the smell. So they couldn't say, okay, well, this guy was acting weird and this guy was not acting weird. It was just specifically the smell, and there were no smell enhancers involved.
But
Meaning deodorants and
everybody has their own scent. You know what I'm
Correct.
saying? Like everybody has their own scent. Like
And a healthy scent, that's what they alluded to. That healthy scent is being chosen by the ones that are off birth control, and unhealthy scents are being chosen by the ones that are on birth control. Overwhelming majority, not everyone.
well, I'm very interested to read this experiment. I
Yeah.
want to read every single page of it.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it was a
that's
pretty interesting. And as I said, it's still in a infant stages of it. But I would like to see what's going to happen with this, and if this is going to continue or there's going to be blocked. Because if this is blocked, what is Big Pharma going to do if this gets out? Now the subscription service to birth control pills just disappeared.
now
So
that we're on
that's-
the
I mean, I hope that does happen because I'm watching Johnson & Johnson right now in my portfolio, and I'm waiting for that fucking price to go down. So I hope that shit just happen. So I could buy them shares, and then they could spend $20 billion like declaring themselves innocent, and then the stock price shoot back up.
Talking about another
gain.
study. This came out in 2019, and I think it was Goldman Sachs or somebody. They pretty much said that by year 2030, 45% of the women are going to be single and childless by the age of 40. So they suggested.
Goldman Sachs said that?
Yes, Goldman
What
Sachs
the fuck does
said.
Goldman Sachs know
I was just about to
that?
say, what the fuck do they know
So-
to be creating these studies,
so-
right? Like, talk to me
so-
about finances.
The reason
We have
this
$1
study-
trillion.
Wait a
Anything we
minute.
say is true.
But wait a minute, let me finish the story. The reason they said this is because they were advising their clients to invest into products that majority women that are single and childless by the age of 40 would buy. Meaning invest into those companies such as Chewy, because then you buy pets. So you're gonna buy shit from Chewy. Chewy stock is gonna soar. So that's what they were. This is why that research came out, because they were just given another avenue for their customers to invest into, meaning freezing the eggs, artificial insemination, such things as pets.
Bro, you know that's
Box wine?
That's literally like stock price manipulation. Because if a company like Goldman Sachs with all of its influence and all of its money says something, all the sheep in America are gonna go regardless of the truth and invest. And that's gonna manipulate the stock
Not
price.
necessarily. Not necessarily if they give a full breakdown. There are rules to this. If they give a full breakdown, why they think this, these are the numbers, and you get to make the decision.
But the thing is, the reasons can be stupid. People are not gonna read them.
Yeah, they don't.
That's
give a
the
fuck.
thing.
It
People
said,
are not gonna read that.
Goldman Sachs said, "Go invest into that fucking mom and pop shop." I'll do it.
Everybody
Now
just
see,
reads headlines
now
nowadays.
see, this is I do not agree with that. Humans have evolved beyond being here just to breed. I completely disagree with that.
I could tell.
I completely disagree with that because there's this such thing as the selfish gene in all of creations in the world. I completely disagree with that. We're on this earth for simply one reason. The reason you wake up in the morning, you work hard, and it's all for reprocreation. The reason we build roads is to make money, to get some sort of a status for reprocreation. The reason we build houses,
But not all
it's
humans have that.
Not all humans, but majority are.
Is that-
majority,
yeah.
overwhelming majority
So
are.
I mean, but is that how you feel personally?
That's not how I feel. This is biology.
Then how are you gonna make the assumption that most people feel like that if you don't?
This
you're-
is biology. You cannot argue
yeah,
biology.
but you're a human, aren't you?
Yeah, but you cannot argue hardcore numbers and experiments.
But you
can't.
But you can argue that some people are just saying, "I don't care to
Correct.
like
Correct.
even, whether you like not because you're let's say like not because you're straight, like not because you can't, like, oh, I still like girls, whatever, and I want to have a wife.
Correct.
But I don't want to reprocreate.
Yeah.
Yes, and this has been proven through history, and
Yeah.
it continues to
Wait.
prove the numbers are still the same. About 44% of the men throughout the history never have reprocreated, and this is traced by genetic, because everybody's on 23andMe, everybody's on Ancestry.com, so they're able to pull these numbers. 43% of the males never reprocreated. However, 80% of the women have reprocreated. And throughout the history, we always had equal number of men and women. So what does that tell you? That tells you that the women were reprocreating with the same guys. So started thinking,
But I
Hold
mean,
on.
like, what's
the
trending? I'm sorry. What's the window that we're looking at? Like, are we
Throughout the
talking?
history.
Are we talking about the past 100 years?
No,
past
no.
1,000
This is
years? The past 10,000 years?
sub-Saharan Africa. Tracing it down. Tracing it
So
down as far as
millions
the-
and millions of years
not
ago. They
300
have that much data.
300,000 years, up to 300,000 years going back, because they can they can trace, like the whole idea of, when you do your genetic testing, they tell you, okay, you're 2% from here, 3% here, you're Anglo-Saxon
Yeah, but at a
or whatever
certain
it
point,
is.
the efficacy of those numbers become less reliable. Like, it's hard. It's obviously easier to trace somebody that's like my great great grandfather than my great great great.
Yeah, but the
great
genetic
grandfather.
markers of your grandfather, you're gonna have the same genetic markers. Somebody else within the society is gonna have the same genetic markers as your great great grandfather. Even if you go back another 100 generations, they're gonna have the same genetic markers.
Yeah, but I still think that there's more to us than just procreating. Like yes, we procreate. That's one of our purposes in life that like a lot of us want to do. But I feel like a lot of us want more. Like we want to create other forms of impact other than just like having a
For
child.
what?
For what? For
No, no, I'm not questioning. I'm like, the question is, for why we want to reach to these higher level or higher status? For what? What does that ensure?
I mean, it ensures our survival. It ensures our children's
Our survival, our children's survival,
Right.
correct? But
and our
so let's say
loved
you
ones.
don't have the children, it ensures your survival, and what else?
I mean, if you care about other people's survivals.
Correct, but what else?
That it right
Like
there.
the earth, like the wellness of the earth. If you care about the earth.
Attraction. You completely guys missed this. Attraction of the opposite sex. That's what that ensures.
Well, if that's to me, if that's how you feel,
That's
then
not how I
there's
feel.
I know I didn't say that's how you feel,
Yeah,
but I'm
okay.
saying like in general, if that's how a person feels, like if they feel like they're everything they're doing is to be a more attractive to the opposite sex or whatever you're attracted to, then that's a fundamental problem. I don't think that's the right way to go about things. I don't think your outcomes are going to be as good as if you were doing things to better yourself and reach a higher status for you. Personally,
See,
for you, because it makes you
I'm
feel
with you.
good.
I'm with you on. I'm definitely with you on being either way, but I don't agree that calling that way is necessarily wrong.
See,
way?
now I
Like say because you said that that's wrong. Like you to have that like reasoning. Like all I want to do is like make sure I'm attracted
I mean,
to the other.
not
I don't think
necessarily
that's
that is
necessarily wrong.
but
No.
I just don't think it's going to serve you best.
no
I
I
don't think that's right either because you look at like ASAP Rocky's one of my favorite videos is of him going, "I do everything for a pussy." It's
Now,
ASAP
see,
Rocky.
At least if he's being honest, he's being honest, you know.
So-
and he doesn't do everything for pussy because he got a girl and he loves her.
So
You know
no,
what I'm
there are
This was before that.
there are exceptions to the rule. However, the exceptions to the rule are statistically insignificant because the number is so small, right? Majority of people are going to do that. Now,
Valid
I
points,
do
Alex.
not. No, not really, because he's discrediting biology in favor of nurture. But I'm not discrediting nurture, nor I'm discrediting nature. All I'm saying that both influence you. Nurture and nature influence you. However, for me to go ahead and say, no, it's just nurture, or no, it's just nature,
Well, you said
it's completely wrong.
You said it's just for procreation. Like
It's
that's
not-
that's the only reason why, or we haven't evolved past.
That is a very big
procreation.
predisposition whether somebody is going to push. Majority of people, not minority. Again, we're not talking about pi 3, right? Like we're talking about pi 2 and pi 1, like on a bell curve, right? Which is 70% all the way to 96%, right? Remove a little bit more of the edges, right? Let's just talk about 70%.
The standard deviation.
The standard
of
deviation,
people.
1 pi removed, right? That's 70% of the total population, right? We're talking about, let's just take basic 70% of the population, which is majority. Even if it was 51, it would still be majority.
Right.
And majority of people are here. It's just biology and the things that I'm talking about, Alex. So continue listening to the conversation. So I'm not discrediting the nurture part of it, too, because you can be nurtured in one way, such as, for example, we talked about this, like the racial discrimination, how that fucking thing happens, right? So when you have two little babies that they grow up together, different skin colors, they grow up to be as friends because they accept that person as their tribe. So this is the nurture part, right? The nurture part kicks in when the two babies that are different skin colors grow up completely separate from each other. Now this person thinks that they're not from their tribe, and this person thinks that they're not from the tribe, and this is where racial discrimination starts happening. So
That's still nurture, though, not nature.
no, that's not, because you're within your tribe.
I don't think that's what
Now,
happens.
I think that's still nurture.
I
because
have
Now,
a
you're still
bunch of
being
white
shown.
friends that I haven't seen in years,
But
and
they
if I
had
see
to
them,
prove
them
it
and
to
their
you.
families will welcome me in.
Yes, but they had to prove it to you.
Not
just
really.
Well,
we came,
they
'cause we
kind of
came
do.
up together, pretty much. You
Well,
know?
that's a different story. So again, I'm saying you kind of grew up together. So now they became part of your tribe.
right.
So
and,
see what
and
I'm
then
saying?
you said when they separate and come back, that's when the racial discrimination.
No.
not
What
separate,
I'm
come
saying,
back.
when they're
Separate
completely
from the
separate from the
beginning.
beginning.
Oh, from the beginning.
Yeah, because
if their
we
parents are racist, then hell yeah, it's
No,
gonna
not
happen.
necessarily that. Because back in the day, there are racist people. Don't get me wrong. There are 100% there are assholes out there. Now, but back in the day when you had this tribal conglomerates of 30 to 40 people, they had to be super careful of what they let into the tribe because it could be the opposite tribe that wants to kill them. So they naturally developed to be like cautious about it. You're not part of my tribe unless you prove
trying to
that
get
you're a
inside
friend. And then now we can become a big tribe together.
Getting back
Right?
door.
So this is what happens, right? Now again, the nature part is where you grow together, and that's the nature, the nurture part where you grow together, and the
you're
nature
shown.
part is when you grow separate, right? But then you show that everything is cool, then it becomes nurture. See what I mean? So these two things are not really, they're interchangeable. It's not just this thing or the other thing, right? But you can't completely go and say nurture is correct or completely nature is
not
correct.
in
Like you
any
can't
way,
do those two things. And a lot of people are going against saying this is correct or that's correct because it fits within their narrative. Because,
Yeah.
oh,
But
you're this, oh, you're
But
that.
I mean, we have nurture, we have nature, and then we have free will, right? So nurture is like things we can't necessarily control, like how we were raised, who raised us, where we were born, etc. And nature is just your environment, what's already around you. You also don't have
Well,
control
no,
of
that's
that.
that's still nurture. The nature is
Nature is
what
your
you're
is your-
biologically, genetically predisposed
Oh,
to
you're
do
talking about
subconsciously.
like your instincts,
Your
Yes.
instincts,
Like-
that's nature.
right? Right.
But nurture is everything, your environment and how you were raised.
Yeah.
So, can you change your nature?
You can absolutely change your nature.
1000%.
What do you call that?
Sorry, you can change your nurture. You cannot change your nature. You can learn how to control your nature, but you can never change your nature. But nurture, you can change.
But I guess you can't change your nature, but I guess I was assuming that we know our true nature from the very
And
beginning,
then you
which
control
we don't.
it.
Which we don't. Like a lot of the problem is that people don't know their true nature. They
Yeah,
don't
once
know-
you figure
they
out
don't
what
know
your
who they are.
Yeah, once you figure out what your nature is, right, you can start controlling it. Like, this is one of the reasons why I like jiu-jitsu, because it teaches you how to control your nature, right? How many times you've heard a guy, I see red, people have to take me off of them because I don't stop. Yeah, bro, you don't know what the hell you're talking about, right? So you start
says
doing
that?
jiu-jitsu and then
A
you
lot
start...
of guys will talk about how I see red.
that's
and I go crazy.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It's really-
So, or a lot of times this
You know,
is...
I actually heard an MMA fighter the other day. He's like, that happens to me when I get mad, but when I see red, I really do fuck up.
Yeah, but because he's
So, yeah,
he's training, but
Yeah.
at least he's conscious of it. And then I don't know if I hope you're taking steps to control that shit, you know. But like
Right? He
this
gonna be
was
punching people in the face.
this was actually a great thing that happened. Actually, you were there. We were out in the nightclub. A friend of mine, a female friend of mine, invited a friend of hers. This guy was pretty tall, pretty big.
Oh,
very
that
out of
doofy
shape.
ass motherfucker.
Yeah, see, I knew you knew.
No, fuck him.
Yeah.
Fuck him. Tell him what happened, and
So-
I still say fuck him.
So
Sorry.
wait.
Excuse my language.
All good.
My bad.
All good.
No.
He
So-
brought that scenario up.
Yeah. So this is what
Fuck that
happened.
dude.
This guy decided to hug Marvin. Never seen Marvin before. Decides to hug Marvin. Marvin's like, bro, don't touch me. He does it again. He's like, bro, don't fucking touch me. And then when he did it the third time, Marvin's like, bro, I'm about to fucking snatch your head off, right? So this guy's very tall. So this female friend of mine proceeded to scream and do this. Do you know how big he is? He could literally kill Marvin, this and that. I was like, wait a minute, stop, before you go any further, stop. I was like, I turned around and looked at her. I was like, listen, you need to just kind of calm down right now, because if needed to be, this guy would have been buried by now.
Well, I'll say,
You know what I mean?
I
know what I
was-
know what Marvin can do.
Like, I had demon time, like where like I had a part of my brain that was like, yo, I hope he lays a hand on me and gives me justification. Like,
Yeah,
Please touch me again.
bro.
I hope
Like
so
I know
bad.
what Marvin can
because
do.
if I strike first, it's not gonna be pretty.
I know what Marvin can do, and I'm glad the guy elected not to do it again. But see,
God.
her nature is telling her, because this guy is big and tall, he should be able to win against Marvin, because he was taller than Marvin and bigger than Marvin. But little does she know what is. You know what I'm saying? So that's their nature of not understanding how things are, right? Until she sees, like, if they were in a cage and there was no referee, Marvin would have snatched this guy's head within a minute. And then the reason I say this is because I know what Marvin can do, right? So that was the whole point. Like, you can't take away that nature. They don't have no clue what it is. They just see, oh, big and tall. You know what I mean? So must be strong. Nah, not really. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's the. As a matter of fact, like, whoever was big and tall back in the day, the only reason the society has grown taller now is because we're in a safer environment where taller is perceived with being stronger. So the mate selection choices, they're becoming taller. But back in the day, if you're taller, that saber-tooth tiger is gonna eat part of your ass.
That reminds me
Bigger
of
target.
the video I saw today of one of like those the classic things, like those buff dudes going into BJJ gyms and like being like, do it to anybody.
Getting
And
owned.
he was getting fucked up. And then
I
they
love
were
those
like, "Oh, you
videos.
ready for the next one?" He's like, "Okay." And they bring him a girl. This girl's a purple belt. Bro, she put him to sleep.
Nice.
Like, straight up just put him to
Nice.
sleep. And then the funny part was, is like,
So you don't mess with people. It don't matter.
her professor comes over and is like, stop, he's sleeping. And he's like shaking the dude's leg. And right when he gets up, he's like ready to go again, like roided out.
No, yeah, but then that was like, professor, like, because this is what happens. A lot of people don't understand how much that adrenaline works, and like that the flight and fight, when first it hits you, bro, like your emotions and levels of strength are to the max. So he's used up, and in those 5 minutes, he used up every single ounce of gas they had in the tank. So this girl came in and rolled him over. You know what I mean? So, but I'm not taking it away that she didn't know what she was doing. She obviously knew what she was doing. You know what I mean? But the point here
I don't
is,
think the gas tank put into play that she choked him out. She was a freaking purple belt.
Her technique was probably it.
Yeah.
Because when I started
I'm telling you,
jujitsu,
you
I
can
got-
get a bodybuilder.
No.
He could be fresh. Hasn't worked out today, and he goes to a gym, and it's a legit purple belt. I don't care if she's a female. I don't care if she's a 17-year-old 135-pound boy. They're fucking that dude.
Bro,
up.
I'm telling you from actual experience. Like, I am and was between 220, 240 pounds. When I first started jiu-jitsu, my first match was against a purple belt girl. She was probably 112 pounds. I'm over here with my wrestling experience thinking I'm going to walk up in here and put it on her ass. She tapped me 3 times in a row. There was nothing I could do. I didn't know how to do anything in jiu-jitsu. Like, she destroyed me.
But
And I
were
say
you-
that proudly because it makes me feel good, because now if I have daughters, I know for a fact
But
I'm
were you-
teaching them jiu-jitsu from an early age.
but were you using your full strength and
Yes.
full knowledge of
Yes.
wrestling?
Absolutely 100% yes.
Yo,
Like,
Marvin,
that shit wins
all right.
every single time.
You are a martial arts guy. You watch the UFC a bit, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I
A little
watch
bit?
fights here and there.
Do you know who Amanda Nunes is?
She's
The
like
gir-
one of my favorite fighters.
Great. I'm happy you know. Do you think Amanda Nunes could fuck this man up?
She'd kill him.
Thank you.
I don't think so.
Thank you.
Bro,
I don't think so.
Amanda
Agree.
Nunes
We were gonna
would
set something up
murder
for
you.
that.
She would
wouldn't.
murder you. She'd
She
murder
wouldn't.
me.
100%.
She wouldn't.
I know she'd
100%.
murder me.
She
I
would
wouldn't
murder
even
all of
try.
us
Look,
right
don't
now.
not
think
saying
so.
I want
You
you,
don't
to get fucked up,
understand,
Jay.
son.
Not saying I want you to get fucked up, Jay. But if Amanda Nunes
She
wanted
wouldn't.
to fuck you up,
She
she
wouldn't.
would fuck
She
you
wouldn't.
up, bro.
She would not. She would not. There's no way. She would not.
I hope she sees this podcast. son. Yo, I'm about to DM Amanda Nunes and be
You
like,
know-
yo, here's the link.
You know, I told Jay.
This motherfucker says
man's
he can
about
beat
it.
you.
I told Jay, I was like, if I ever
wouldn't
could
murder
set up where we could do like a legit you versus like a high level.
hey,
girl.
life
pretty
is
sure
And
sexist,
Jay was like,
Alex.
let's do it. I'm gonna do
pretty
it with
sure
Jay.
there's some
One
girl
day,
here in
like,
St. Pete
son.
that can whoop Jay.
Life is sexist, Alex.
Like, I wouldn't be afraid if we were sparring and it wasn't like on some angry shit. I wouldn't be afraid, but I just I would not be surprised if I got my ass busted. Like, I wouldn't be like, oh my God, how could this happen? I would bow to you because I'm like, yo, your skill is clearly greater than
I mean,
mine.
I
don't
did
think that
martial
would ever
arts. I mean, this This is
I
as a
don't
middle
think that would
schooler.
I
happen.
mean, I don't think it's impossible, bro.
This is
I'm
as
not
a
saying
middle
it's
schooler.
impossible, but I'm saying the chances of that happening are extremely small.
Oh man.
No.
Because if
The
that were
chances of you
true,
winning
I'm
are
gonna do
extremely
everything
low.
in my power
To set this up,
set
right?
up a sparring match between you and Amanda Nunes.
if
like,
that were true,
that's gonna be
We
my
could go
side
even
mission in
lighter.
life.
We could go even lighter. I'll give you Rose and I'm a Eunice.
and we're gonna
That's
shoot
fine.
it live
Doug
on Ghetto Rig
Rose.
podcast.
Thug Rose at 125 pounds.
no, that's
Anyways,
fine. That's fine.
I can. I mean,
If
this
that
is-
were true, Australia's national women's team would have won against the 15-year-old high school boys playing soccer. If that were true, we wouldn't have two divisions.
soccer is a very
divisions
different
in
sport
sport.
than MMA, my
It
friend.
It doesn't matter.
woman
We wouldn't have two divisions.
Works out and trains
hey
to
Alex,
fight
you want to hear some
every
sexist?
single
We have
day.
two divisions. That's sexism because if the sexism didn't
You don't
exist,
train
there
to
would be
fight
only
every
one
day.
division. Huh?
You don't train to fight for your life every single day. Like that's what she does.
Yeah, it's still.
That's
I
what
don't-
she does.
I
That's
don't
what she
think
does.
so. I don't think
That's
not the
all
same
she
thing.
does.
I don't think so.
When you're sleeping, she's training. When you're working, she's
Yeah,
training.
that's fine.
Like
That's fine.
when you're out with your hoochie mamas, she's training.
Like I did MMA growing up, like in like all throughout middle school, and then I boxed a little bit. Like girls that like legit, like well, for example, when I got to MMA, there was already two sisters there, right? That had been training since they were in elementary school too, and like probably already a couple years into training, so higher belt levels than me. Not saying that after the 3 years like training with them constantly. Yeah, by the time then, yes, I had the physical and enough a physical advantage and enough technique to win. But before that, they were whipping my ass. and these are girls that I was always big. Haven't been under 200
No.
pounds since before middle school.
Remember,
So-
exactly what you said. You had some technical later when you had more physical strength and understood technique. That was completely different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with that being said, there was in I think it was in 90s or 80s. There was this kickboxer, female kickboxer. No one could she was whatever amount of fights, 0 losses. Right? Like they couldn't find any female to kickbox with her in a ring on a stage.
Can I say something real quick before you continue on? Back in that time, the skill of a woman kickboxer is like this low compared to what you have now.
Wait,
Like
wait,
there's so much
wait a
access
minute.
to learn how to fight nowadays, and
Wait
it's
a
not
minute.
restricted
Wait
to
a
just
That
men
woman
anymore.
kickboxer,
Like-
woman kickboxer could get beat up by the average 25-year-old man, like 2023 compared to 1980s kickboxer.
Wait a minute. This girl was, as of today, she's considered one of the best kickboxers that ever existed. Female kickboxers that ever existed, right? She's like Hall of Famer kickboxer.
You could
They
beat
put-
her.
They put her against. Wait a minute. They put her against an amateur kickboxer male. They both accepted the fight. They put her against the amateur kickboxer male. This guy literally walked all over her. Now you can say the level
Was he really
here.
an amateur?
Huh?
then? Was
Yes,
really
he was
an-
complete
He
amateur.
never fought in his life. He never trained a day in his
Well,
life.
he was an amateur fighter. He
Oh,
was an
amateur
amateur
fighter,
fighter.
so he trains.
But he's been trained.
Correct. He was an amateur fighter against a pro.
But listen, even though you're an amateur, you're still fighting in real 100% competition, training to to be a pro. There's guys that train harder as amateurs than pros because they're like, I want to get to that point. And then once they're there, okay, I'm in. Maybe I can slow down and then make my base. But there's guys that are hauling ass through the amateur rounds to get there.
So the example you use, you have a woman and a man who both train to fight.
Yeah.
But you are so confident in saying that you could defeat Amanda Nunes when you don't train not even 1% of the amount that she trains, and she's been doing this for years.
I don't think that would happen. I don't think she would murder me.
Your
I just
logic
don't
is
think.
crazy, bro.
I don't think
Your
that would
logic is
happen.
crazy.
I don't think that would happen. I'm sorry, but I don't think
All
that
right,
would
we
happen.
got to make it happen. We got to raise some money,
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
I'm gonna start a what should you call it?
GoFundMe?
Kickstarter.
Yeah,
GoFundMe.
GoFundMe.
Yeah. I need a
GoFundMe.
venue, and I need
Not a
I
GoFundMe,
got to
go
pay
fight
Amanda
Jay.
Nunes. Like, how much does that
GoFundMe.
cost?
No,
$1
all
million?
I'm saying is if that were the case, if that truly existed, there would not be two categories. There would not be two
100%.
categories.
You know why? Because like we were just talking about the whole time, there is two categories because the guys, yes, they have that physical advantage. But guess what? Those guys are also training every day like those girls are. And not only training every day, all fucking day. So you're putting against two pros. Yes, we get that in the sense that you have two pros. The guy's going to win. Even if you get let's say Brandon Moreno has fights at 100.
We're not talking about pros. We're talking about Australia's national female soccer team.
That's not being
lost,
a pro athlete. That is.
lost
I
7-0
saw
to
this.
15-year-old
Yo, shout
high
out to
school
Alex.
boys. High school boys.
When did this happen?
Hey, look it up. You got the phone on you?
I've seen it.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like why we
You love
why,
to talk
why
about
we
girls
even
you can't
fighting
grow out
each
of.
other, bro?
Listen, this is not sexism. This is just talking about biological facts that men have more muscle mass, stronger bone density. They're just physically superior to women. I don't know why we're even arguing.
Yeah, because
this.
we're built to protect them, bro.
Correct.
Like
we're
built
physically
That's how it is.
superior
like we're
to
supposed
women.
to we're
so I don't
supposed
know
to
what is he
protect them with all
arguing
the
about.
strength.
We understand what you're saying. We're not arguing against
Did
that
you find
fact.
it?
No, but I'm trying to. I'm gonna get my thought
Yeah,
out.
go
I'm not
ahead.
arguing against that fact, but what we're arguing against is that this girl trains day in, day out with multi-million dollars backing her
Yo,
training.
so much resources.
Yeah,
son.
so much
Coaches,
resources
fighters
and
from all
time
over the
and
world.
all
I
this put in.
I understand.
This girl would murder you, Jay.
Like, I would
That's
be
fine. If
if
that
you're not
happens, that
afraid,
happens.
you're
I
the
don't
bravest
think
motherfucker
so.
on the planet.
I don't think so. But if you think that, that's cool too. Like, I'm not negating. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying you think that way and I think this way. Like, it is what it is.
So let's do a scenario. Run it
Uh-huh.
down for me. How's this gonna go down? So you square up with Amanda Nunes, then what?
Yeah.
What happens?
Just square up
Are
with
you
her and
gonna
see what's
go
gonna
for the
happen.
takedown, or are you gonna
What
go?
are you gonna do?
Yeah,
I'm
what's
probably
your
gonna
game
do
plan?
what
Are you
probably-
gonna attack her first?
Let's John Jones this
probably
thing.
I wouldn't attack her first.
No,
I wouldn't.
You'd wait for her to
You'd be the
attack.
counter
Yeah,
fighter.
probably would. Yeah, I would. Probably
You got better
counter
hands
fight.
than Amanda Nunes?
I
Fuck
don't think
no.
so. I don't think so. Or
Because
dedication.
if
Hell
if
no.
you're waiting for her to attack, she probably ain't gonna grab you, bro. I mean, and
I understand.
she very well could and destroy you because she's a black belt. But
Yeah.
she probably won't because she's
Yeah,
like,
I
I
agree.
could just tag you up and be done with you. Then
Yeah,
what?
that's probably what the entire fight what's gonna be. Is her trying to tag.
Trying. Are
Trying.
Are you Neo from the Matrix? Are you gonna dodge her fucking
Yeah.
punches?
No,
and
bro.
shit?
Those things are coming at your face.
I'm gonna
like
do
bullets.
what I would be good at, and she's gonna do what she's gonna be good
Hey.
at, or think that she can have an advantage.
But she's good at everything in that cage.
Yeah.
She is that cage.
Okay, Jay. Do you think you could win in a match against a female grizzly bear?
No, no, I'm not Khabib. I can't.
I mean, Amanda Nunes is kind
That's
of
a great
a
question.
step
not.
down.
She's not.
She's pretty close.
She's
to
not.
it.
She's not. I'm sorry, but she's not a grizzly. You can't compare her to a grizzly bear. Like if that, I mean, if this was Colosseum, like back in Greek times, you know, they might have put Amanda Nunes in a cage with a grizzly bear, you know, but
think she would've
that's
won.
not.
Bro, you could have a shield and sword, and she could go bare knuckles and she'll still kill you, bro.
Yeah, I mean, could be. I don't know.
She's
I
epic,
don't.
bro.
I just
Hey,
don't think so.
I say, you could give Jay a gun
won't.
if she's within 5 feet.
Nah, Jay's shooting her real quick.
Within 5 feet.
He don't
within
want
5
nah,
feet.
Jay
if
shoot,
like a close
Jay's shooting
distance,
her before she
no,
even gets.
No,
like,
no.
less
If
than
she's
8
within 5 feet, if she's within 5 feet and that gun's still holstered, she is fucking him up.
Well, that's not even a fight. Because if she
murder.
had a gun, she could shoot him too. So it's
No,
like,
but if
that's
you're
not even
within
a fight.
5, like, have you? I don't know if you've seen, but like,
Within, like,
I've
grabbing
watched many
range.
demonstrations of people when you're at a close distance, you go to pull a gun.
Oh.
That shit takes a lot longer than you think.
Yeah.
Like,
Talking
someone
about
can
that,
close
talking
distance.
about that
Now,
guy
this
that,
is
like,
what I
tries
can
to
agree
teach those
with.
Safety courses.
No. I'm talking
No.
about legit
No,
safety
bro,
courses.
this is
of
what I
them
can-
showing
That
how
guy's hilarious.
like no, yeah, that's fucking
That
That
hilarious.
guy's hilarious.
You saw him trolling 6ix9ine?
No.
Oh my god! So I don't
That
know. You know who
one's
6ix9ine
hilarious.
is, right? Takashi 6ix9ine.
Yeah.
Takashi 6ix9ine got jumped last week in LA Fitness here in Florida
Huh.
and got fucked up.
Damn.
Like,
He did.
face leaking.
God.
They took off his pants.
Jesus.
They stole
Yeah.
his pants. Yeah, he got fucked
God.
up. There's a video of it.
Why? What was that about?
Yo, I'm not staying
Well,
here
the
for
whole
long,
snitching
bro.
thing.
The whole
This
snitching
state is
thing.
Ah,
wild.
okay.
I gotta
Yeah,
get
So
the
what
fuck
I
out of
agree with.
No, but wait, like, so he. Fuck, you made me lose it, Joe. Goddamn.
So what I agree with is I might like this is legit what I'm saying. I might be overstating my own situation. I am. I might be. I'm gonna give it benefit of the doubt. But I also think that you might be underestimating or overestimating of how that would go. So I think there is a common ground here. Like I might be overestimating my own skills versus hers.
You're
and-
overestimating your physical advantage, and you're trying to say that we're
thing is,
overestimating her
I
technical
don't even
advantage.
think you
Which
have
I
a
get that.
physical advantage over her, bro. I really think she could bench more than you, bro. Like I think she's stronger than you. Dead ass.
Yeah.
Physically stronger than you.
Could be.
Like I think
don't know.
she's more physically
I
could
could agree
than you,
with
bro.
that 100%.
Yeah, I
be.
could.
I
Could be. that I would need to see. I don't know. I've never seen her bench press.
Like I
or
watched
anything.
her fight.
We're
Like
not
I
bench
saw her
pressing.
I saw her pre-fight
Double
special that
fucking
shows her
champ.
fucking squatting
Oh,
four
another
Double
thing.
fucking champ.
Another thing. Do you know who Zuby is? Zuby. He's a big big YouTuber and things like that. So what he did in UK, he said he converted. He's like, I'm gonna change my sex. He changes his sex to a female, goes to a deadlifting competition, deadlifts,
Wait.
breaks the world record,
Hold on, you
comes
just-
back and says,
you
I'm
just
changing
skipped-
sex
You
back.
just skipped over like how he changed his sex.
So
Did
he
he
went-
just say that, or did he do something
No, he went and legally changed his sex.
legally? But did he actually like have the sex change?
Did he do it
operation?
biologically?
No. He just went and said, I feel as
And
a
identified. Okay, he just straight up
identify as a
identified.
female and legally changed his sex on all of his documents.
Okay.
And then went and I think it was a deadlift competition, broke the female world deadlift record. And Zuby he just works out in the gym. He's not a lifter or anything. Broke the world female record of deadlifting or whatever it was that he did, and then changed his sex legally back to male.
They shouldn't let him change
Okay,
his sex back.
Does he
May
feel
I s-
good about that?
Real
though?
quick, I looked up the thing, right? These are not high school these are high school boys. Yes, they are 15 years old, but they are part of a pro team for under 15 years old. So these are prodigies. These are fucking
But they're
prodigies.
15
These are
years
just,
old.
but they're 15-year-old Amanda Nunes's that are putting in this fucking time.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it comes.
You
down
didn't just
to.
bring up like a normal 15-year-old.
Yeah, it's not like a
Well,
high
they
school
obviously
team.
didn't collect
It's
It's
in
not
the
a normal
schoolyard.
high school team. It's not a normal high school team. Is what I was trying to get at. It's
Well,
not a normal high school.
Bro,
team.
it's the Australia's national female pro team
Yeah.
going against 15-year-old boys.
Yeah, that are prodigies.
What prodigies? There might be prodigies for Australia.
No, they're world prodigies.
What
They're literally-
they're Australia's team, bro. They're from Australia.
I'll look it up and check.
Yeah, and then look up Zuby. He went and he doesn't deadlift. He doesn't do these high-stake competitions. He went and broke the world record for female deadlifting.
Bro, I'm not denying that this shit doesn't happen. I'm just saying you cannot defeat Amanda Nunes. That's all I'm
That's
saying.
all we're trying to
That's all
tell
we're
you.
trying
Only
to
thing
tell
I'm
you,
trying to
dude.
like get through your head is like I can't
But
believe
she
you
might
actually
win by
believe
points,
otherwise.
but she's not gonna murder
By
me. That's all I have to
I mean,
say.
she's not gonna murder you because she's a nice person.
No, she's
She's
not gonna murder me
kind.
because
She actually
can.
has a good heart. You
I
know?
don't think she can. That's why I'm saying. I don't
Bro.
think she can.
I hope
She
you
would-
never threaten her children.
Look, you're a big statistics guy. So right now it's probably 4-1 that thinks she can. That
Yeah,
thinks
but
she can beat your ass.
but see the statistics will come in play when it actually there was some research done. Neither one of us says this is just an opinions that
We've
we
all
have.
seen
No,
her
no, no.
fight.
This is
That's our
definitely
research.
strictly
This is
speculation.
opinions.
But like, I would put everything on the table. Like, if I was playing poker, I'd be like,
Bet the house.
all on Amanda
Bet the
Nunes.
house.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, so how's
no
the research
hesitation.
coming? Are you trying to find
So
something
they're
against?
part of the Newcastle Jets under 15 rules, under 15 club. Sorry, which is an
And where's
official
and where's
football.
Newcastle Jets?
Yeah, it's from Australia. But no, what I'm trying to say is that this is a
Yeah.
professional. These boys play for a professional football club. You did not. You said, oh, they're just high school team. No, they're not. No high school team.
They're 15-year-old high schoolers, bro. They go to high school. What did I say wrong?
You said they were a high school team.
I didn't say high school team. I said they're 15-year-old high
I'm
schoolers.
sure you said high school team.
I didn't say high school team, bro.
It doesn't matter because their skill level's so high. It's like that's a considerable variable. I don't know how much it played into it, but
But the
they're not going
point
to just
is-
put anybody up against that.
The
team.
my point I'm saying that the testosterone that men have that plays a lot of role, and I don't think
100%.
now see this is the whole thing of should women attend self-defense classes? 100%. They should go and learn self-defense. I do agree with that 100%. However, when situation presents itself, they shouldn't pull guard or try to defeat
Pull
the guy.
guard.
You know what I mean? They should just scream and run, and then have somebody
I
else
mean, I
out there
think
take
that's-
care of the situation.
what's his name?
Now, unless it's a
You guys-
situation that you
you
can
guys-
avoid.
You guys introduced me into him to the other day. The bald military dude, black belt in jiu-jitsu.
And
what's
by
his
the way,
name?
Napoleon didn't just try Russia.
It was,
Napoleon tried
Ozzy and
rest
Jay
of the
told me
Europe,
about
and he
him. I
conquered
mean, I had
rest
seen
of the
clips of
Europe.
him
Richie?
before. Huh?
Good,
Richie?
good luck with that.
No. What's his last name?
Richie?
Richie.
I don't. Fuck. I know his Instagram.
Anyways, he was talking the other day. This is a really famous dude, really famous in jiu-jitsu and stuff. He's like a former veteran. Anyways, he was talking about how he's like if I get into a fight, my first defense is to fucking run.
Exactly. I was just about to say that.
I was gonna get into like
Yeah.
I don't think like it should be for a girl. It should be everybody's
Right,
defense.
that's
Get
what
the
I'm
fuck
saying,
out of
like,
there.
And
if
I
I can
agree
get out of a
with that.
situation, I'm getting out of it. Like,
And I agree
Minimize
with it.
risk,
And
right.
if I do get into a situation like that, do you think I'm gonna take it to the ground? I don't know who's around it is gonna kick me in the head.
What do you-
It's gonna be
we've
just
had this, we've
try
had
to
this
punch and
argument,
kick and
Marvin,
move.
I
That's
haven't-
what's gonna
I haven't
happen.
talked to you, Kevin.
Right. Build
What do you
strategy.
think? You know, we've talked about this. What is like if someone came to you and said, "Man, like, I really want to be able to defend myself." If you had to give me one martial art, what would you tell someone?
It would be either jujitsu or wrestling. Most likely wrestling, because I like the idea of taking somebody down and then running away, like while they're on the ground. Or if they don't want to stay down, you slam them one time, like not too hard because you don't want to have like stand trial for murder, but you slam them enough where they're gonna be on the ground for at least a minute and you run away.
So
That's
real
it.
quick before I ask Kevin, or actually fuck Kevin,
His
give your
name-
give your
Like, it's
opinion.
called
I'll go
self-defense.
into
It's not called murder.
what I think.
Eddie, his name is Jason, by the way.
Jason, what's his last name? Because his last name is something.
Jason
like,
Ritchie.
Jason Ritchie. Show me a picture of this dude. See if it's the right dude.
Are you
I
putting
feel
it on
like
the
he
screen?
has some weird name that's like very like.
Richie's pretty remembering.
No, that's not the dude.
Wrong
That is.
No, that's not good.
I'm gonna look him up.
But
What do you think?
what I
Kevin?
think about that, I agree with what Marvin says. You know, just something to take them down, keep them, you know, occupied, so that you have the advantage to get away.
Okay, I'm not okay. So I'm gonna. All right. I'm not gonna say you guys are wrong. I agree with your opinion to your reasoning, 100%. But it's like I feel like I would just 1,000 recommend something like kickboxing or Muay Thai.
Yeah, I'm with you
The
on
reason
that one.
being is if I'm in the street, I do not want to go to the floor, because why? Like you just put yourself at so much risk for other surroundings. What if, like, for example, let's just say I'm out with Jay or I'm out with Marvin or I'm out with Kevin, and I come out the club and I see Kevin Scott in the rear naked choke of some dude. What am I gonna do?
Kick.
That dude is getting kicked right in the fucking head, right? So I think that like it's just a lot easier for like if I'm a kickboxer or really good at Muay Thai or just a normal boxer, right? Like stick and move. We always talk about flee, right? And if you have to like do something, you want it to be quick, you know, be able to stay on your feet and like move around. That's the way I
the
think.
thing-
about
How
it.
about something kind of like judo?
Yeah, that's another
Judo
grappling art.
still.
Yeah, but it's more of like taking somebody
them
down,
down, yeah.
instead of
Yeah,
you
no,
going
so
a lot
down
of
with them.
throws.
Yeah.
Like
So
hip throws.
so there was this clip. I don't know
Disable.
who's,
You can still disable and move. Disable and
Yeah.
move.
I there who sent me this clip.
I'm
right?
still
Like,
punching you in your jaw.
there was
I'm not judo throwing you. I'm punching your jaw.
So they sent me this clip, right? One of my friends it was a parking lot. There was no one in there. There were two dudes. They were squaring up with each other. The skinny dude, and then there's this big roided up. No, it wasn't roided up, but he was a thug. You could tell he was a thug.
Fuck it. He was rated up, man.
Yeah,
Fuck
whatever. So the skinny dude, he was doing jujitsu. He ends up taking this kid down, takes him down, goes into an armbar, starts like cranking on an armbar. This guy reaches in his pocket, pulls out a knife, and goes like this. You know, so to me, I do agree with you. I think just
Stick and
punch,
move.
kick, and move, punch, kick, and move.
Bro.
Even though I do jujitsu
For
myself,
someone
like I
who-
couldn't say I do
Bro,
the
like-
punch,
like
kick,
For
and
someone
move.
who's done MMA, there's nothing like people are like, oh, like the face is where to go, bro. If you've ever been front kicked in the solarplex, you know what I'm talking about. Like if someone who knows how to kick, or maybe like not necessarily a front kick, but like a really good kick to your leg. Like we all heard the dead leg phrase, right? Like when you get hit right here in your thigh, it like gives you like that dead leg feeling. You don't want to move around. Like you throw your tree trunk of a
Lymph
calf.
nodes. The lymph nodes.
Yeah, the nerve right here. You throw your tree trunk of a calf at somebody correctly. Yeah,
You
fuck
throw
'em
you
up.
throw
You
throw,
fuck them up.
you throw a kick into
You
somebody's
definitely
knee correctly.
If you're in
they're
somebody's
not
range,
getting up.
if you're in somebody's range, you gotta be aware. But if they're in your range, you can grab them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
I like what Kevin said, the judo throw thing, because
Yeah,
you're not
that's-
going to the floor with them.
Yeah,
That's
and
my problem.
I'm also not
going to the
running.
floor
I'm
with
also
them.
not running at the person. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah.
Like it's like if you get close to me, I'm gonna grab you. But if you just get close enough to me where I'm in your range, but you're not in mine, I'm either gonna back up, or if you're up against the wall, I'm gonna close that gap somehow with my hands up to make sure, so I can close
Now-
that gap so I can grab you.
Now, I'm not negating that jiu-jitsu within a cage with the rules and a referee is deadly. No one can say
Because the
anything
thing about
it.
jiu-jitsu and wrestling and you know
And- or
grappling
wrestling,
sports
and or
these
wrestling.
what we can call grappling sports, right? Like grappling martial arts, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the once you can close that distance,
It's
You're in a
all
whole
game
different
over.
world.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't
Game
matter
over.
that you're a world champion kickboxer.
And bro, don't get it twisted. I'm multidisciplinary. I trained
Yeah,
boxing,
yeah.
kickboxing, and Muay Thai for 4 years. So your boy got hands.
Yeah.
Your boy
No,
got
no,
hands.
like-
I'm not
like,
afraid about like swapping hands with most people.
Yeah.
Because I'm
But-
not gonna get into a fight with Amanda Nunes. But if it's gonna be any average person, I'm not really concerned because chances are I'm better than you. And if
Yeah.
I'm not,
Yeah.
then that's on me.
Average people.
Yeah,
On
That's
you
on me.
deserved it, right? Because I
That's
know
what I'm
I
saying.
know
That's
I'm a
on me.
little, technical.
So,
Yeah.
so there was a thing. There are these kids. They're called. If you ever watch Daisy Fresh, and they're these Wiltsey brothers, right? Andrew Wiltsey is a black belt. I think his brother is a black belt right now too. Like, these guys took the jiu-jitsu world by storm because they're these kids that growing up in this gym. Literally, like they live in a gym.
Yeah,
right?
you were
Look at
showing
this
me
gym,
this the other
Daisy
day.
Fresh.
Yeah, I
These
saw
guys
that.
share geese.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
They got all types of nasty staph infections and
Yes.
shit probably.
So
Yeah,
these guys
100%.
used to-
ringworm all over the place.
these guys used to work as security guards at this bar, the both brothers. So they were on a trip or something. They came back and they had to go to work. And then as they walk in, one of the waitresses or bartenders runs up and is like, hey, there's a fight in the back. There's a fight in the back. Naturally, what they do, they run to the back, right? They run to the back. They see this guy. It's like a fucking huge built guy, like a linebacker. What happens? The older brother jumps on a rear naked choke. The younger brother is like tackling his legs down.
Yeah.
So they put this guy to sleep. They put him to sleep and they start dragging him out of the restaurant, right? They drag him out of the restaurant. This guy comes back and starts fighting them again. So they had to put him to sleep again. And what he was saying is like, even though we put him to sleep, he goes, this guy was fucking physically strong. He goes, he took every single ounce of my body strength that I had to put this guy to sleep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
That reminds me of,
again,
like, the girl
the
thing I
point
told you
goes.
guys
The
earlier.
point goes to that. Yeah. Does the size matter? It does when they know what they're doing with it.
Yeah, but they didn't hold the choke long enough to murder the guy.
That's
Like,
true.
They could have,
Yeah.
but
could
they
have.
didn't. If
Yeah,
Amanda
yeah,
Nunes had you in a rear naked choke, she could hold it down and kill
Correct.
you, but she's probably not going to because she's a kind woman. Amanda, I think you're a kind woman. Just
No,
want to let you know.
that's true. That's true. That could have happened. I mean, I've been to sleep. We both know I've been to sleep. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I've been
sounds
to
like you
sleep.
put you to
But but if
I
you
wasn't
would-
gonna say nothing.
but if you but
Damn.
That's just what it sounded like.
yeah, he
Ruthless.
put me to sleep.
It was an
Yeah, he-
accident.
Yeah, he put me to sleep.
Because
There's
I
no-
didn't see. I
Why
couldn't
is
all
see.
he
fun and games, huh?
Why did you tap?
Because I don't
He
fucking
went
tap.
to sleep.
Yeah,
He
Well, that's
doesn't
what
tap.
happens when you don't
yeah, I
tap.
don't fucking tap. So
See,
the
and a
point
nice
is,
guy.
See, this is why I don't spar with Jake, because he doesn't fucking tap.
yeah, well, you gotta do something for me to tap. I would tap to you if you're doing
it
it
hurt,
correctly.
You gotta kill me.
I
for
mean,
me to
he was
tap.
obviously
No,
doing
no,
it
no. I
correctly.
would. No, I wasn't gonna tap to him because he knows what the fuck he's doing. So I trust him enough. With you,
Yeah,
unless
yeah,
you do
yeah.
it correctly, I'm not tapping to you. You know, I'm not gonna tap you just because I'm gonna fucking tap you because you're doing something half-ass. You know, I want you to do it the correct way. That's the only way I'll tap. Even if it doesn't hurt, if you're doing it correctly, I will tap. But if you're doing it incorrectly, I'm not tapping to that shit.
And also it was a blood choke when I put Jay to speak. It
Yeah.
wasn't sleep. It wasn't
Wasn't a, like, actual
it wasn't
choke.
a wind choke. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
he could
yeah.
breathe, but his blood circulation to
Was
his
slowly
brain was
getting
getting
to
cut
him.
off
That shit
very
only
slowly.
takes 7 to
And
12
before
seconds.
he knew
yeah.
it, he was out. And then like my
So-
coach's girl was on the other side and was like, Marvin, he's not breathing. And I had to let go and like he started convulsing on the ground and shit. And
So,
I was like, oh, please,
you're a
Jay,
nice
don't
guy.
be dead. Please.
How many- How many times
So
have we
many
rolled? How many
reasons.
times have we rolled? Plenty.
Oh yeah, like every day. Yeah.
Plenty, right?
Oh yeah.
Now, would you say on average, like I don't know anything about this, I'm just asking because I've never asked you this before. Would you say on average I'm easy to choke or hard to choke?
You are one of the hardest people to choke because you don't have a neck. So the thing about people with no necks, that you can't choke them because you have to
There's
wrap
no
the
neck.
gi around something. But his neck is like it's almost like a pyramid. So like there's nothing to latch on to.
Yeah.
You know what
So
I'm
that's
saying?
what
So
I'm
it's super
trying
hard.
to say.
all.
Like I know what body type I have. And going off of that, I'm saying it wouldn't be as easy for somebody to try to choke me. I've had black belts try to choke me and I don't tap and then they have to go to something else. They ended up submitting me some way, one way or another way, but they have to go to something else. And then when the fight is over, they're usually like, bro, he goes, it was impossible to choke you. You're the first person that I wasn't able to choke like this.
Jay, let
The
me-
black belts have told me
Let
this.
me ask you a question. Do you think it's more demasculating to get choked than submitted otherwise?
Is it more demand? No, I think if they're more skilled, it is what it is.
Like would you be more or less embarrassed if word on the street was that Amanda Nunes choked you to tap you versus like she armbarred you?
I wouldn't be embarrassed to either one.
I feel like they're equally as like.
I wouldn't be embarrassed
Yeah,
to
they're
either one
equally hard to.
because Because that would show that
To
she's a
accomplish.
better fighter. I wouldn't be embarrassed to lose to somebody better fighter, but I would be embarrassed to lose somebody that's worse fighter
Oh yeah, of course.
because of my own dumb mistake that I lose.
So,
Right, yeah, of
do you
course.
guys did you guys watch this last weekend's UFC fight?
Oh no, I missed it.
So there was the main event was Marlon Cheeto Vera versus Corey Sandhagen. I'm a big Marlon fan, but he lost that fight, right? Like I'll tell the truth. So you had the first. It was a 5-round fight, even though it wasn't a championship fight. You had the first 2 rounds like really, really like slow pace from Marlon, right?
Yeah, was it?
Cheeto. I'll say Cheeto.
You weren't fighting?
No, it wasn't. It
No,
wasn't.
I
it
don't,
Marlon.
even
wasn't
know,
you.
I don't even know who that is. What are you talking about?
But yo, listen, don't forget what you were saying. This
Actually, hold on, because I gotta pee.
okay. Well, while he's not here, I'm gonna give him his roses. He's gonna hear what I'm gonna say. Like if Marvin really wanted, he could be one of those guys that fights in the cage. He's that fucking good. Like he could be one of those guys to fight in that cage.
So what it was funny. The reason I was bringing up the fight was just because like it was a really bad scoring, right? First 2 rounds, you literally had Sandhagen outscored him first 2 rounds it was. I saw the stat 120 something, 130 something to Cheeto's 33, right? So like this guy pieced him up the first half of the fight, and then like 3rd, 4th, 5th round, which is what you expect from Marlon Cheeto Vera. If you've watched his last like 5-6 fights, you can see the trend of like him being a slow starter, especially in these 5-round fights to kind of like help with endurance. And I think it's also to kind of I think it's 2 things: endurance and to fuck with timing, because people usually use the first few rounds to like figure you out, get this timing. But if you're ultra slow and no volume, when you start putting it on them on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round when they're gassed, they're like, oh, this is what he does? So I get the strategy in a sense, but I think it's dumb as shit, because in a 5-round fight, it's like, oh, I'm going to go slow in the first 2 rounds, basically giving those other 2 rounds. Now I have to win the other 3. Like, I'm forced to. Like, if I don't win the other 3 rounds, I have to knock him out. Then I lost. You know what I mean? Like, I can't give away a single round, which is a really dumb strategy. Anyways, what I wanted to get onto was, so one of those fucking judges gave Marlon round 3, 4, and 5, which he only really won round 3. I watched the whole fight, and I'm a really big fan of both of these guys, especially Cheeto. So I was like eyes glued. I remember they were playing poker, and one of these guys that plays poker with my dad asked, "Oh, you guys have Coke?" And he asked me purposely because like he wants me to go get him Coke, and my dad tells him he's not moving. Like he's not moving right now.
Wait,
Like,
you talking about cocaine?
no, Coca-Cola.
Oh, I was like, yo, I don't know. I don't know.
What demon time you on?
So, anyway, so the fight was so like, basically like they tried to rob this man. One of the judges, and it was funny because I'm watching the thing, and they give the first scoring of the judges was that judge that scored the fight 48-47 Cheeto, and you can literally see Sandhagen's face go, what the fuck? Because he won 1 round, maybe if that. Even other judges didn't even give him the round that he maybe won. Like another judge scored all 5 rounds for Corey, justifiably, because 1, 2, 4, and 5, 100% Corey Sandhagen, and then the round 3 was like the one that could have been the deciding round, and then like one other judge only gave him that 1 round. They need to fucking fix the judges on the goddamn UFC. Like, that shit is fucking fights up lately. Like, we saw the split decision with the light heavyweight title recently. All the draw, not split decision, all the draw. Sorry, the draw that happened with the light heavyweight title when, who was it? Jan Blachowicz and Ankalaev when they fought, right? Which, it's a weird one.
I think there's politics that we don't know anything about. I think there's a reason why it's happening the way it is.
Yeah.
And if we knew the exact reason why the things are happening, we
I'm
might have
so
thought about it
stereotypical and like
differently. You know
like
what I mean?
judgmental. Like I looked at the cards and I saw that the dude that gave him those rounds had like a Latino, Hispanic, or maybe like Brazilian kind of name, and I was like, he's just fucking going for him because he's Ecuadorian. And I was like, nah, that's not it. Let me stop.
I think there is a narrative that we don't know about, and if
Definitely.
we knew the narrative, you know, like you might think differently. Like, you know, I know I've told you this, like the whole dragon story. You know, like you're in the bottom of the mountain,
But they were talking
dragon
about
on
this,
top
right?
of the
Like,
mountain.
why does a company like the UFC, right? They force themselves to be like, to make these things official in a sense, to go by these commissions, right? So like, for example, the commission of Australia was the one who went and picked the judges for these fights, right? Like the UFC has nothing to do with that part, right? Like these official judges are all by the commission of whatever state or country they're currently fighting in, right? And then these commissions are also like, they also have deciding factors on like the certain supplements they allow, like bullshit. Like for example, I've heard of certain fighters that won't fight in certain states and places because like, no, I don't want to deal with that annoying ass commission. Because they say, I won't even fight because of some bullshit or whatever.
Yeah, no, I agree with all of y'all. Like, I think it's like criminal court where sometimes it's cut and dry, sometimes it's ambiguous, sometimes the judges make the wrong decision, and also the legal defense teams and the legal teams, they're taking into account who the judge even is. They're like, oh, let's wait for this case until we get another judge, or let's file for another judge because this judge is racist, or this judge hates women, or this judge, got paid off, or something like that. Like,
and it could be that, it could be something completely different, but they're putting that narrative out as well.
Right, and that's a factor in the fight. Like, that's a factor in the competition. Like, it's not just us squaring up. There's the rules, there's the regulations. It's like the real world, bro. Like, if everything was fair by our standards, we'd have it all nicely and easily, right? But like, there's adversity, there's obstacles, there's things that we deal with that we feel like we shouldn't have to deal with that we still have to deal with. So what do? We build strategies around it. Like, and that's what people do.
And that's the thing. That's like not having the victim mentality, right? Like, you keep going and going. Like, it's up to us to, like, majority of people to say, hey, listen, I don't agree with the shit, you need to change it. But that individual person that's within that situation, they can't take that victim mentality and say this is fucked up, like, because people see from the side whether it's fucked up or not fucked up, like, it's arguably same story with what's his name, the fight that happened with
Islam and Volk.
Islam and Volk.
That's the one I wanted to bring
what
up.
does that mean? We got 5 minutes?
2:15.
We're at 2:15. Okay, no, it's just giving us a time how long we're going.
Yeah, so the Islam and
thank
Volk,
you,
like, there are two camps.
I gave that fight to Volkanovski.
I know.
Personally. And a lot of other people did. Like you guys were saying you gave it to Islam due to the control on the ground. I just don't look at that as a big enough factor because, like, even though he was controlling his back on the floor, like, he wasn't doing anything. He wasn't even going for submission attempts. Like, besides the one time he went for his neck, every time he would grab his back. Well, after that, because Volk instantly would show, like, you're not getting my neck. Kind of like Jay.
Pulling a Jay, right?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And so after that would
the same
happen,
body,
the next 2 minutes when he held his back, what was he doing? Literally just holding his back.
Well, not really. You can't say that he was really holding his back. He was attempting to do submissions unsuccessfully, but he was attempting to do them.
A lot of the time, you watch that back control time, he is not pulling off attempts.
Because you have to control. You can't just
Yeah,
go
you have
for
to control.
nilly-willy
But
for a
he can't
submission.
even
You
get
got to
to the part
control.
of attempting because Volk is so good at just like keeping the hands away.
Yeah, but that's where the control on the ground
Yeah,
comes
I
in
get
because he
that,
was
but then
able
you
to
only
keep
have
him
to-
there.
You only look at that factor. All he did was control.
And then afterwards, remember,
That's
he
still
said,
winning the fight, in my opinion.
But then they look at the fight in the long term and the whole thing, right? And so if you watch the last 10 seconds of that fight and you like see that, you're like, if that fight was 30 seconds longer, and they would have just like Islam would have just been beat to shit because the end of the fight was literally Volk on top of him, ground and pounding.
yeah, but that's also, Islam knew that it's only 10 seconds left, right? So you might
I
have
don't
allowed
think
him
that's a
to do it.
factor. I don't think
I
that's
don't
a
know.
factor.
It's hard to say. The point is that there are
We've
two
seen many
camps,
times, like,
and
for
it's
example-
50-50. That's what makes a good fight. It's 50-50.
I love
Something
that
yes,
fight.
something
I
no.
love
Sorry,
that
I
fight.
didn't-
Actually.
There you go.
I think that fight was amazing in the sense of like entertainment wise because it was so back and forth, like, and you could tell that these guys went in there and was like, okay, we're looking at Alexander Volkanovski, this guy that fucking beat the shit out of
Everyone.
Max Holloway. And like after seeing Max put on an amazing show, and then this guy came in and was like, "Fuck you, dude." Volkanovski, right? People calling him best striker in the UFC, right? Then you have Islam, best grappler UFC, right? Debatably. And then you went in there and you saw like, oh, Volk is getting up. Oh, he's stuffing these takedowns. Oh shit! And then you see, oh, Islam's fucking cracking him, and it was a very good back and.
Like, everybody knows like everybody's weakness and strengths, but the people who are fighting, they're gonna work on their weaknesses. Like,
Exactly.
they're gonna work on what they need to work on to beat their next opponent.
I saw the first time, like when I saw the first takedown officially go, like he got him on the floor and it was a takedown, and then Volk got up. I was like, huh? He did that? He got up? Oh, we got to fight. We got to fight.
At the end, Islam said it himself. Like, I wasn't expecting. His grappling was
Yeah.
much better than I thought it's
Yep.
going to be. But then again, Volk also trained
Volk said the same thing, too.
with Craig Jones. Craig Jones ain't no chump. You know what I mean? So
And he's got that rugby
arguably
base.
one of the best. Yeah, arguably one of the best jiu-jitsu guys out there. No-gi jiu-jitsu guys out there. You know what I mean?
And Volk said the same thing about Islam. I didn't respect his striking, and he came in here and showed me why I should respect his striking.
Yeah.
You know?
So
And then he said the same thing backwards. You know, like he wasn't expecting my grappling, and I showed him my grappling.
yeah. So I that's what I'm saying. That's why it was an interesting because it's a 50-50. Some people think he won. Some people think the other guy won. That's why these type of fights need to end in a submission. Like when he goes to scorecards, that's when everybody
some kind of finish, not necessarily submission, but some kind of finish. Like
Yeah,
somebody's getting knocked out or choked out or tapped out, whatever. But some kind of finish.
everyone, including me, becomes a pro at deciding what these fights are. It has to be some sort of a like.
So Joe touches on that a lot. He's like, even me, like the only time I like feel comfortable like making that official decision, like I feel like this guy won, is when I go back and watch it, like just watching the fight. No one around me. I'm just watching the fight, like a judge should do, like not talking with bullshit with your boys, or even if you're a commentator. Like Joe said it, like even as a commentator, I can't judge correctly.
Yeah, no,
Because I'm paying attention to too many other things and talking about other subjects and like mentioning how this guy does this or da da da. I'm not really paying attention to every strike, every second of that fight, like to judge it. It's a different mindset when you're going to judge a fight, which you're absolutely right. None of us are professional judges to actually really say what the fight was.
And the same thing happened with Piotr Jan. Remember?
Yeah. So I didn't watch that fight, but you guys watched it. I don't remember what I was doing.
Piotr Jan. And
Debatably, a lot of people said that win was robbed from Jan. You know what I mean? Some people were saying like, "Oh, Sean O'Malley definitely lost that fight." Others disagree. Apparently, it was one of those fights that was kind of back and forth. And
well, so the thing is, I give him the benefit of the doubt as well. At the end of the fight, Sean O'Malley didn't say that he won. He said, "I need to go home and watch the fight again. I can't tell you how the fight went."
I heard him talk after though. He said after he watched it, he said he feels like he won.
Okay.
Which of course he won, so he's still gonna say that.
Yeah.
Like
like that Piotr Jan's fight where he lost because he kicked a guy.
I love the meme today. I saw it. So it's Cheeto Vera, right? It's this circle of guys, how they beat each other. So how the bantamweight division is. Cheeto Vera beat Sean O'Malley, right? Cheeto Vera beat Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley beat Peter Yan. Peter Yan beat Corey Sandhagen, but now Corey Sandhagen's beat Cheeto Vera. So it's like all these guys are just beating each other in a straight circle.
It's all about style matchups. It happens in football. It happens in basketball. It happens in every sport. Like, just because you put up more numbers on the board doesn't mean your style matches up.
Yeah.
I used to wonder, like, back when I used to watch football, like, every season in college.
That's a really good
like,
way to put it.
How is it that the Patriots go, like, 12-4 or 12-3 or whatever, and then they lose to the Dolphins, who are, like, 1-10? Like, how does that keep happening every year?
Or
there's a style matchup
or
thing
Rays
going
against New York Yankees.
Right, like there's different style matchups that like it just always pans out in the way that you wouldn't expect.
We're getting way past our 2-hour mark here.
Oh, we're on 2-hour mark?
Yes. So I mean, I'm not like on a time limit or anything. We do whatever the fuck we want.
Y'all need to put up like a clock or something.
Nah, we don't. Like I said, we do whatever the fuck we want.
You talking about the clock on the wall?
I need a tabata. I need a tabata timer.
With the beep.
Yes.
Beep.
So this, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's this weekend. I'm gonna double check. I don't know if it's this weekend, but one of the next big UFC events is gonna be Israel Adesanya versus Pereira 2.
Yeah, that's coming.
Really good fight.
I want to see that.
I'm an Izzy fan, so I go for Izzy kind of thing.
All day.
Then co-main Masvidal versus Gilbert Burns. What do you guys think? If you guys are,
I know Masvidal. I don't know the other guy.
Gilbert Burns. He fought Khamzat Chimaev the last fight, like the brawl that those guys had. If you saw that.
No. What do you think about the guy though?
Gilbert Burns. I'm a Burns fan. Yeah. I'm a really big Gilbert Burns fan.
Burn?
I think Gilbert Burns is gonna
and I
do
think,
really good.
Bro, Masvidal is damn near 40 years old. Bro.
He's 38. I literally listened to him in his podcast with Joe because they did one the other day, literally last week, right? And he's 38. But Burns is I think up there too. I think he's probably like 34 to 36. But just to see the war that happened between Khamzat and Gilbert. If Gilbert could bring that dog energy in there,
and Easy owned Burns.
Yes.
When they're
And
fighting. Easy owned
Well, no,
Burns.
it's not Izzy. Kamaru. He fights in Kamaru's division.
Or is it Kamara then?
Kamaru, I think broke.
Oh,
his,
yeah.
I think it was. I think he broke his jaw. He broke something on Gilbert.
So
Kamara
anyway,
fucked him
the
up.
Damn.
the point is that what's
I'm
his
gonna show
name?
you a
He's
picture of
older
Gilbert
now.
Burns.
He's 38. Your body doesn't work the same way. He had to go up in a weight class as well because it's like, man, I'm not trying to cut weight anymore like I used to. You know what I mean? Just to hit that 160, whatever it is. You know. So I don't know, man. I think it's gonna be a letdown for a lot of people that are big on what's his name,
Masvidal.
Masvidal. I think it's gonna be a big letdown. So I think he just carries the name and he sells the tickets. That's why he's fighting. Otherwise, he would not be fighting. You know what I mean? Like if he wasn't selling the tickets, he's a character.
No,
It's
no,
the
I
whole-
I don't take that away from Masvidal.
I
don't
think it's
take
the whole
talent away.
street fighting background that people kind of attach themselves to.
Yes.
'cause
Cause that's how he came up.
Yeah,
Like
this
is
with those
Gilbert
backyard
fighting.
burls. Yeah,
He's a
bro. He
beast.
fought
He's a
easy.
fucking beast.
He
Yeah,
fought
yeah.
easy, didn't he?
No.
What? Who did Easy do that whole thing where he came up from the back and it's like he was humping him?
Oh, that was.
Oh my God.
So Izzy did that to, I think it was Paulo.
yeah,
Paulo.
it was
That's
Paulo
right.
Costa.
Paulo Costa.
Paulo Costa. When Izzy was Paulo was like in turtle position and Izzy's just on his back fucking him up, and right when the ref pulled him off, Izzy grabs him and fucking like the
my
air humps him
God.
twice.
Oh my
He
god.
literally was fucking him up that fight.
Damn.
Yeah.
And this is the reason I don't like Easy, bro. Just like, look, you just be like, be humble.
I
This is
have
why I
to
don't
say I
like you, like,
disagree.
humble.
I have to say I disagree with
Do
you.
you like McGregor?
No,
So
I dislike him.
I don't. I'm not. Gonna
No,
say
I'm
a
not saying he's
McGregor
not a
fan.
good fighter.
I love watching
No,
McGregor
of course,
fight.
they're
though.
all good
I love
fighters.
watching the entertainment.
Right. It's all entertainment.
So
That's all
I
it
look
is.
at it this way: Izzy, I don't think he does it in like a entertainment standpoint. What? Because I heard him.
Bro,
I've
that's
heard him
why he
talk about
does
this.
it.
Listen. Well, I mean, to the masses, he definitely does. But the reason he has like this kind of like, I guess what you want to call his ego, right? Is I kind of agree in the sense it's like he walks the walk, so he talks the talk kind of thing, and then
Yeah,
you
but
have,
you can be humble and do all that. You don't have to
Yeah.
do all
Like-
that
Yeah,
shit.
but he's not gonna make
Pereira.
the same money.
Yeah,
Like
not everybody's
Pereira.
gonna
But
be.
this
his
is
He
what
won't
I'm
make the
saying.
same money.
Exactly. He's not gonna sell the
He-
tickets.
this
won't
is
make
what
the
I'm
same
trying to
money.
say. This is what I'm trying to say. Yes, I understand why he doesn't. And I'm not taking it away from Easy. He's definitely one of the goats. He is, hands down. But be fucking humble about it. There's no need for you to go out there.
There
and do all
is
this
because he
shit.
wants to make all the money he
Yeah.
can.
Yeah,
There is
I
a
see
need.
that.
Yeah, so
There
then
is 100%
it becomes not about the sport anymore. It becomes about him making the money.
Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
He's
I
feeding
mean-
into a different audience. Like he's not
Yes.
like fighting and you watch it, so it's like he's catering to people that don't know fighting at all. They're just watching because they want to see somebody knock somebody out.
Yes.
You know, the
No,
same
yeah,
people
I
that
get
get
it.
hyped for football end zone celebrations. It's just like those people don't actually know
But
the
I
game.
don't-
They're not paying attention to the game specifically. Like
I
they're
don't
looking for
feel
the hype.
like.
Yes.
I just I also
Agree.
feel like he's not doing it for the same like only that reason for the entertainment. I also feel like he's just showing how he feels.
That's
and
probably
be-
just how he is.
That's what I
That's
what
why,
I
like,
believe.
If there was nobody around,
Not
he probably
humble.
would be the
now,
same way.
now Conor McGregor, Kobe Covington, those guys are doing it on purpose
Yeah, they're
to
putting
just
up
fucking be
shows.
assholes and like this. I think Izzy's just fucking straight up being himself and not filtering it any kind of way. That's the way I see it.
Well, that's
because
not
he's not.
being
He doesn't.
humble. That's my point.
I don't
and
necessarily
okay,
think.
so here's a question.
I used to think that growing up, even when I did MMA too, like you should be a humble fighter. Why are you gotta talk all this shit? I don't believe that now, because it's entertainment at the end of the day.
Right?
These guys
If you're
should
in
be
the-
doing
yeah,
that.
If you're in that
Because
industry,
guess what? When-
it's a part of the industry.
Yeah, it's a part of the industry now.
No, I get that, but what I'm saying is just I don't have a good example that I can bring up of somebody that's like humble.
Could be.
And he's pretty humble, but he does talk his shit too. But
He talks his shit only once they
once
start
provoked,
talking.
yeah,
once provoked.
once provoked, you know what I mean? But yeah, but just be fucking humble. Like even
But let
Volkanovski,
me-
he's pretty humble when it comes to it. He
Let
does
me-
talk shit.
Let me
but
ask you
it's-
this:
it's-
besides the whole humping Costa thing, what do you see that Izzy does that he talks too much shit?
It's just the way he talks. You know what I mean?
The way he talks.
way
No,
he
but
talks,
that's just
correct.
his way of
It's
like
a very
flow.
very girl thing to say, but yeah.
Yeah, but no, I think that's just his flow. Like as the
think he
man
just
say,
talks
his
with
flow.
confidence.
Yeah, he talks with confidence. He's not gonna what he said right when I heard him on Joe's pod. He says he's not gonna shelter himself for other people's like comfort. is
Well,
what
I
he's trying to
understand
do.
that.
Yeah.
And nobody's asking for him
Facts.
to shelter himself for other people's comfort. All I'm saying is, if this is about the sport, let's talk about the sports. But if it's about show business, let's
But
talk
what you're
about show
saying is
business.
that's not what he says, it's how he says it. And how he's saying is just how
Yeah.
he is.
How he talks makes you uncomfortable, but he's not here for
Not,
your
not
comfort.
necessarily. It doesn't make me uncomfortable. He's not. He doesn't make me uncomfortable or anything like that. I'm just saying you can be humble about it. I'm not saying I'm not taking it away from what he can do. But again, he is a great fighter. He's one of the best, if not the best. I'm not taking that away
I
from
don't know.
him.
Things I don't like make me uncomfortable. So I'm just like, if you don't like the way he talks, then it makes you uncomfortable.
No, not really. It's not that it makes me uncomfortable.
It does in a certain sense. It does. Because that's what it is. Like if you see something you don't like, I 100% agree with Marvin. In a certain sense, it's because it makes you uncomfortable out of the norm. You know?
Yo, Alex Wright, you're the one. Yo, I want to be on a podcast with Alex
No,
Wright.
I didn't.
That's one of my boys right there. Right?
Yeah, no, talking about humble. You
No,
know,
yeah,
I'm,
no.
I'm just telling
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sitting here and humping Amanda Nunes. You know what I mean? I'm not sitting here and talking mad shit about Amanda Nunes.
She ain't gonna
You
let
know?
you do that to her.
Yeah, so I'm not doing any of those things. There's a difference, right? Like, yeah, coming out of the pocket and saying some dumb shit like that. I get it. I get it. You had to say something, Alice. I understand. You feel
Whatever.
better now by yourself.
It touched
But
him,
the
Alex.
point,
It touched
point
his
I
heart.
was trying to
You
make.
should be humble, Jay, and realize that Amanda Nunes would murder you.
Yeah, but she wouldn't. That's. I don't think so.
Be humble, Jay.
I don't think
Sit
so.
down. Yeah, sit down. Sit
Yeah.
down.
No, no, sorry. There's just
Jay,
That's something
Jay,
I
will you
believe.
make me a promise?
what's that?
No,
If-
I
if
already
I-
made him
if I
shake my hand.
if
I
I
made him
s-
shake my hand for this.
He
Oh,
would
I
agree
told
to
him.
it?
I said if I can set up where a professional, legit professional female fighter,
Yes,
and
I
you can, and he's like, oh, I can go at her, and I was like, bro, I will set
I didn't
this
say
up.
that.
No, no,
Nah,
I'm
I
You
didn't
know,
say that.
you said
Hold
I
on.
can go full strength, and I said yes, I will set this up.
No,
where
I
it's
didn't say that.
legit.
Wait. I
And
said,
you said that I would
if
fuck
it's
her
gonna
up.
be okay and everyone agrees to this, I would go ahead and fight.
Okay, but I'm talking about if I get Amanda Nunes herself,
Sure.
would you fight her?
Yeah, why not? It'll be cool experience.
Bro, you better hope I don't do this.
It
Because
would be cool experience.
if I
why
have
not?
enough resources, which I will very soon because I believe in myself, I'm going to consider it.
All right.
I'm going to be like, I got a couple months off. Let me track down Amanda Nunes and offer her like $300,000 to spar with you for 5 minutes.
That's fine. But just make sure to do it when I'm not 70 years old or 60.
It's not going to take that long.
Okay.
I can promise you.
I believe you. I
Money
believe you.
Marv,
That would be
Money
a
Marv.
super.
You already
That would
know.
be a
Yeah.
super cool experience. When no one's gonna get butt hurt or come out and you fought a girl.
You know,
and
I
you
ain't gonna
punched a
lie.
girl,
I ain't gonna lie. I
nobody's
think it'd
gonna
be.
get butthurt.
I think it'd be a really cool
Amanda Nunes.
experience to like have that experience of sparring with a professional fighter in general.
Yeah, it'd be
whether
awesome.
if it's a girl or a guy, like that person's gonna piece you up when it comes to hand speed and just like
Yeah.
technique. They're gonna fuck you up. I think that'd be a really cool, like
Yeah.
humbling experience.
Yeah.
It
For
could
sure.
be. That
For
could be.
sure.
Or could be the other way around.
Or you just
Bro,
get fucked up.
Fighting,
and you're mad.
her fighting style is textbook. Like it's
Yeah.
textbook.
No, and
Like,
I'm not saying it's not.
like
I'm
she
not
doesn't throw bad punches. She doesn't throw bad kicks. She doesn't make like she's
Bro, she
so
is
smart,
so technically
like,
sound.
and strong. Like I can't see it. You know, he said
Yeah.
by the price. I'll put
See,
money on this fight.
the whole thing
Yo, I'm
is,
about
but
to,
see,
I'm about to get a racket going.
now
in
you also
Vegas, baby.
now you also have to look at the other side. Now, does she have a pretty good chance of him winning? Yes. Now, if which I don't believe in, the taking the small part of it, like saying, okay, well, there's a small chance that means this is gonna happen. No, that's not what I'm saying. You imagine the repercussions of that when Amanda Nunes comes out and let's say fights me, and then some crazy chance I win. Do you understand the
Bro,
repercussions of that?
those are not repercussions because you're gonna go viral. I'm gonna be there, so I'm gonna go viral, bro. We're all gonna be rich.
And
Like, if you-
and if it's in a sparring match, we can set up this big thing where she's gonna fight you for real.
No, but that's what I'm
this
saying.
big pay per view.
Well, this is
set
what
it
I'm
up.
trying to say. But you understand the repercussions of that, where by crazy chance, if she does end up losing, and she does end up losing,
I love how
badly,
you yourself just said by
By
crazy, chance.
yeah, but ends up
knows it
losing
deep
really
down.
badly. By
He
crazy,
knows
by
deep down.
again, by crazy
Yo.
chance ends up losing badly. Do you understand the repercussions that would put that on her name or on a female sport? Just to
I don't
begin
think so. I don't think so
How?
because in the grand scheme of things, a lot of guys are just gonna a lot of people are just gonna consider that. Oh, well, he was a man versus a woman.
Exactly.
No, I think they're gonna be like, oh, she definitely like let him win or like put her guard down
Or that.
because that's more
That's
likely
true.
what they're gonna
Or
say.
That's
that.
very true. Oh, it's
Like,
just
we're gonna
sparring.
get
Like
a
they're not
UFC
actually
fight.
like a real
She
fight.
is a warrior.
Yeah, but
Like,
that's,
she's a warrior,
that
son.
again. All I'm trying to say is the repercussions of that will be pretty bad for the female sport. So I don't think that would ever
If you-
happen.
So you're
The
doing
chances
them
of
a
that
beat
being-
favor?
Amanda Nunes.
No, I'm not doing
They're
it.
gonna
You're
put him
doing
up
them a
against the guy.
favor by not fighting Amanda Nunes
No, I
right
didn't
now?
say that. When did I say that? You just
Yo,
assumed
because
that
you're
shit
talking about
'cause
the
you want-
repercussions.
No, all I'm saying is you got to think about it. I'm not doing anyone a favor by fighting or not fighting. All I'm just saying, if that happened, if by crazy chance that scenario played out, that it would be pretty bad for the.
If
That
you
shit
beat
crazy.
Amanda, they would
Hell
get you Volkanovski.
Huh?
I said if you beat Amanda, they would bring you Volkanovski.
Yeah, we'll match the height and everything,
I mean that's the best match for
Yeah.
you.
and he would tear me apart.
Why, 'cause
Like
he's a male?
literally, the first round, 10 seconds, not even 5.
So would Amanda.
Nah, I don't think so.
Nah, I don't think so either. I think she would play with him for a little bit.
She likes
A
to play with her
minute.
food, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe
yeah.
play with him for a minute.
She likes to like.
But if
try
she
different-
wanted to, just like Volk,
Yeah, like I said, I hope he never threatens.
Now see,
her
this is
children.
exactly what I'm.
Because if
now,
he
see,
threatens her children, he's toasted.
now
like-
see, this is exactly what I'm talking about because this conversation would happen in a private rooms. Oh, she played with the food a little bit. Oh, she did this, she did that. No one would give me the credit if I did end up winning like that. No one would give me the credit for
Alright.
it.
no, Jay, listen. All of us here,
if
if you were to go fight Amanda Nunes, and in that cage you rear naked choke her, you
Right.
tap her, or you even don't have to knock her out, you just knock her down, like she goes to her knee, we would all bow to you, Jay.
I mean, I'm not bowing to nobody, but I'll give you your credit for sure. I'll be like, all right, you did it, bro. You did it. Like, you know, yes, I doubted
long
you.
as my-
I absolutely 100%
As long as my
doubted
friends
you,
say
but you
that,
did it.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, man,
As
who
long
gives
as
a
my
fuck what
friends say
anybody
that.
else says?
I will own up to
I-
the
I'm
fact
cool
that I
with that, as
doubted
long as my
you,
friends
and
say that.
You did it. Like, I'll give you that.
All
You
right,
know?
cool.
I'm a man of truth. Like,
Just
when
like
when I
if-
see something for what it is what it is.
Just like if you were to go and like, we were talking about her the other day, the Brittany Griner girl, the professional basketball player.
Yeah.
She couldn't beat you in basketball, right?
Probably.
No way. He said,
Probably.
I mean, I don't even know what kind of level
Probably.
she's on as far as
She
skill is
plays
concerned.
professional. like-
WNBA.
yeah,
Probably.
Olympic,
Right, but, like-
Olympic level basketball.
Because I don't
But,
play basketball.
Is she as good at basketball as Amanda Nunes is at fighting? Because I think Amanda Nunes is one of the greatest fighters of all time.
When it
like-
comes to 100%.
Is Amanda Griner one of the greatest basketball players of all time?
Well, she's definitely a great basketball player. She's playing at Olympic level.
She is, but like, what is she more known for? Her skills or what happened in Russia?
I don't know. I don't
Probably
watch-
what happened in Russia. To be honest, probably what happened in Russia.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
No, so I mean, I've also seen other people play against professional basketball players, and they end up owning them. They're just recreational basketball players.
There
So
are some good guys out there for sure.
yeah,
It goes back
they're
to
just
what he was saying is
recreational.
the skill level, the
style matchup,
the style matchup, exactly, the style matchup.
Just the simple fact, like, you know, talking about basketball, you know how people turn their back and they'll have their elbow, you know, and they kind of push each other a little bit. Like a guy that's 200 pounds versus a girl that's say 170, 180, he's gonna move her out of the way. He is, just by putting a little bit of pressure.
Some sports are designed for certain body types.
Yes.
for sure. I don't think MMA is necessarily one of those sports because technique has a lot more to do
100%
with
I
your
agree with
chances
that.
of winning than actual.
But I
strength.
do think it influences the fact in the sense like you see a lot like when you watch female MMA fights, like these girls like they come out of there looking a lot more like beat up and like scarred because like they bruise a lot easier. Their skin is a lot like not as tough as ours.
To get
Like, a lot of things.
hematomas and things like
Yeah,
that, yeah.
like a lot of times you see these girls coming out with hematomas on their heads and stuff. So they definitely bruise easier and like they're not as built tough.
I'm not doubting. I'm not doubting
Forward
the
tough.
reality of the situation.
Yeah,
I'm
because
not.
if that
Yeah,
was a thing,
for sure.
even amateur MMA fighters would fight with pro women in a ring, right? For example, Amanda Nunes. At this point, no one in
Yeah,
a
no,
female
it's a kind of-
category can get on her level. So the next best thing would be for her to show her skills is to go against an amateur MMA fighter. Amateur, not a pro, an amateur, to prove that this would happen. But that fight would never happen. That fight would probably never happen. Because number one, she would not get paid enough, because if she does lose that fight, her name would be destroyed. And she doesn't want to do that. So
I
you
don't
kind
think her name would be destroyed.
it would be because like right now these conversations in a closed rooms would not happen because that would be concrete proof. Even though it's 2023, they got the skills, and she ends up getting destroyed by an amateur fighter.
I don't
You
think.
know what I mean?
I agree with Marvin. I don't think it'd be destroyed. But we got to wrap this up, boys. It's already midnight.
Oh shit. Yeah.
So thank you guys for
be
coming. This
continued.
is episode 27,
Yeah. Wait, Amanda Nunes pay-per-view coming up soon.
sponsored by Money Marv.
Right.
That's up.
Money Mar Media Group.
So yeah, go check out Marv stuff. We
And
have all the
Johnson
links
and Johnson
below.
better go down so Money Marv can make his 300K.
Right. That's how I'm paying Amanda Nunes for this fight. So.
Yeah. Thank you guys for coming
Johnson
out
and
tonight.
Johnson, you hearing this?
Don't worry about having babies. Elon Musk got us.
Thank you guys for coming out. Make sure to hit like, subscribe, comment before you guys head out. Share it with your friends. Thank you
Yeah.
guys for coming.
It's
Love
a
y'all.
pretty fire episode. We talked